This is Motorsport Radio.
1, 2.
Join the conversation. Contact the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website, Motorsport Radio.
Welcome back to the FAB-Racing 2022 British Mini Bike Championship here from Llandow. We are currently watching the Mini F1 sidecar race going on right now. Mick Williams doing a really good job at the moment as predicted. Fastest lap so far from him was a 57.890. Really good start from him. Jason Greenstreet in second place with John Keats in P3. I'm Alex Rizzolo-Panios Lambropoulos. Alongside me is Lewis. Lewis, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we're just watching the sidecars right now. Mick Williams is, of course, in the lead, as you said, by 5.8 seconds already. So it's a great start from this. Exactly what we expect. And you can just see it right now. They're absolutely on it. Greenstreet, of course, in second place, which we're used to seeing them on the number 90 blue and black outfit. It's such a professional-looking outfit. I think we can all agree. And John Keats in third place. As talking about Greenstreets, they are off. I believe either a problem or maybe the rider might have, passenger might have fell off. He is dropped down to third place now. I believe John Keats have got in front of them. So can Greenstreet, with just 3 laps to go, catch up and get back into second place?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Mick Williams with a fantastic thing. Not too sure about Jason Greenstreet. I'm not sure if John Keats has managed to overtake. Yes, I believe he has. But Mick Williams already pulling a fantastic lead on John Keats. It's going to be really interesting to see if Jason Greenstreet can catch up to John Keats, who is in the 666 red and black machine. So currently the runners at the moment, Mick Williams is leading the race with John Keats in P2. Jason Greenstreet is in P3 with Mark Parker in P4. P5 is Chris Impey in the 457 machine, and 6 is Iona Glover. And we have had some absolutely smashing racing today, haven't we, Lewis? Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we certainly haven't. This race is no different. I mean, although it may not look that close on track, just the way that they ride these bikes is so impressive. How close they get to the ground, how committed they are, how great they work as a rider, and there's no two people better than that than Mick Williams. Now, if we remember back to yesterday's coverage, we were talking about how much they've won the championship, how many times they've won the championship, and I believe the last time Mick Williams did not win the championship was actually 2013, where Mick Leahy won the championship and not Mick Williams. But Williams finished second in the championship in 2013. So it's been a long time that they've been off the top step.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like today, we are on the final lap right now. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that Mick Williams has dominated this series once again. He is absolutely on fire. That team, that pair that they have on those on those sidecars is absolutely sensational. It really is fantastic to see these. As we see Mick Williams on the final lap coming in to the last corner, and it's going to be another dominant performance from Mick Williams, who crosses the line to win race 2 of the Mini F1 Sidecar Championship. Absolutely sensational. It really is. As we see John Keats, I believe, will finish P2. Here we go. It's very close though. Let's see John Keats, a little bit of a shaky final corner there, as we see John Keats coming across the line, who will take second place away from Jason Greenstreet. Fantastic to see the 666 in second place there, as we now look to Mark Parker, who will come across and finish in P4 with Chris Impey in P5 and Iona Glover in P6. Another really fantastic race, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, just looking at them, they're happy, they're buzzing. They knew that they had this race in the bag. If they could just stay on it, their pace has been incredible all weekend. That final lap, they just eased off, did a 1 minute lap time, which was the same as John Keats in second place. Even though they took it easy in that final lap, they were still able to be faster than the people behind them, which is just incredible. But John Keats will be absolutely delighted with that second place. I mean, although Greenstreet had a little fall off, that is racing, stuff like that happens, they'll be happy to bring it home in third even after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another fantastic race for the Mini Sidecar Championship. So, as we can see, a few of the spectators just looking over at the action for the next race, which will be the LC40 Elite Championship. Now, these are really cool bikes again. Small little bikes, as I believe, and they are really interesting. These bikes, these are the Mini Motors LC40 Elite British Championship. These are powered by 2-stroke 40cc engines or 4-stroke 90cc engines. Very interesting. These riders are anywhere between the ages of 7 to 13, and these, unlike the AC40 Pro and Rookie Championships, these do not have an exhaust restrictor. So these cars, these bikes are capable of 56 miles an hour. An incredible speed for these young riders.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, at that age, I don't think anyone could imagine going 56 miles per hour on so close to the ground as well. I mean, if you've ever driven a go-kart, for example, you'll know the closer you are to the ground, the faster it feels like you're going. So these riders on these mini motos they are so close to the ground. So they're going to be feeling like they're doing double the speed. So it's a great experience for these younger riders. And talking about these younger riders, it's not a massive grid that we have here on the LC40 Elite, but it always produces amazing racing, as does most of the classes here at FAB. As we have a look, just at two bikes on your screen there, there's Austin Johnson and Byron Johnson. They're two brothers that run very similar looking bikes for us commentators, and they're usually found at the front of the grid, so it can be quite difficult to commentate on sometimes, as we see some maybe an issue with the number 11 bike there in grid. That's Jensen Bishop. No, I believe he just went to the wrong grid spot temporarily, but yeah, the two Johnson brothers are usually pretty fast, and Byron Johnson you may have seen earlier in the AC40 Pro race. So he is on an air-cooled bike, while his brother Austin is on a liquid-cooled bike. So it's great to see that the fact that the air-cooled bikes can still keep up these liquid-cooled bikes, even though they're slightly down on power, as they head out for their warm-up lap. And we have a quick look at the grid, where Austin Johnson will start in pole position from Finlay Pole Hill, with Matthew Thomas in third. Sam Gardner rounding off the second row in fourth, with Byron Johnson in fifth. Liam Lindquist in sixth, with Jensen Bishop in seventh. Chloe Gleeson in eighth. Oliver Hall in ninth, Dylan Toreen in 10th, and rounding off the grid will be Callum Maxwell. So it's a great grid, only 11 riders, but I'm sure it'll produce great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. This championship always produces really fantastic racing. It really does. These mini bikes are also incredible to watch, especially trackside. Even in person, you kind of get a reference of just how small they are on camera, but when you're actually here, you do say, I mean, they are small little bikes, and they do produce really fast, fantastic, quick racing. So I believe it was Austin Johnson that just got a little bit of a slow start on the grid there, as they went around for their formation lap. But as we see them coming up to the grid, yes, we do. Lovely stuff. We see Finlay Pole Hill there in the 199, the bright orange bike. You definitely can't miss that on camera. As we see Austin Johnson in first place, all of the riders having a little bit of a chat to one another, telling a few people to come over here, let's have a little chat just before the race does start. So, as we said, we've been through the grid. This is going to be a very interesting race. Let's see which one of these riders can get the best start. There we go. We get the signal to go at the back now, just waiting for the front marshal to give the signal to go and tell the drivers to look at the lights. She looks and talks to her radio as we now look at the lights. There we go. So we're just waiting for the red light now. And the red light any second. There we go. The red light is on and it's lights out and go. It's a fantastic start for Austin Johnson. Finlay Pole Hill just in second, challenging there for that. Matthew Thomas there has a great start as well. So does Sam Gardner. Byron Johnson staying in fifth place. We can see this battle going on track now. A very nice clean getaway for a lot of the riders. Nice to see that they are very close together, very nice and respectful with racing, as we see Austin Johnson leading the pack away from Paul Hill, Thomas Gardner Thomas, and then Gardner behind him, and then Johnson behind him. A very, very, very nice start. Let's see where this race takes us.
Yes, certainly. I mean, Austin Johnson got off to a great start. He's had a great season so far, actually. Finlay Paul is just trying to keep tabs on him, trying to be close enough, so if he does make a mistake, he can pounce on that and get past straight away. But Austin Johnson leads the way after this first lap of the race, where, of course, he will set the fastest lap as he is first there. But Austin Johnson knows how to lead a race. He's done it all throughout the season, but can he hold on? I mean, there's no slow riders in this class. This is the peak of mini motor racing in the UK. Byron Johnson, Austin Johnson's brother, is up into 4th place right now. Sam Gardner rounding off the final podium positions in 3rd. So definitely for the podium, it's not over yet. Even for the race win, it's not over yet. I mean, Austin Johnson, he's going to be trying to go as fast as he can, but that can cause mistakes. I mean, you can run wide, get a bit flustered, where Finlay Paul might take some advantage on that.
Yeah, absolutely. The gap between Johnson and Paul Hill at the moment is just over a second on that last lap, as we see Johnson coming into the final corner. There we go. There he is as he goes over the line. Let's see what the gap this time around is going to be to Finlay Paul Hill in the second. It's 2.3 seconds. He's gained another 1.3 seconds on Finlay Paul Hill. A very, very interesting race start indeed. We have 6 laps to go in this race. It's looking like a very nice race at the moment for Austin Johnson and the Johnson brothers, as Byron Johnson that is, has managed to overtake Sam Gardner for 3rd place. We could see, there we go, we see Finlay Paul Hill on screen. We can see both Austin Johnson and Byron Johnson potentially on the podium as brothers, which will be a very, very interesting and very happy podium for that family, I am sure, as Austin Johnson last time around went 53.028, which is a very, very quick lap in time, as we see Austin Johnson come around the final corner and going over the start-finish line for a 53.179. The gap has gone up a little bit more, about 6/10 up now from Johnson to Paul Hill, but the gap between Byron Johnson and Finlay Paul Hill is 2.1 seconds, which is very, very interesting. Sam Gardner, Matthew Thomas, Chloe Gleeson in P6, P7 is Dylan Torian, P8 is Oliver Hall, Jensen Bishop is in P9, and rounding out the top 10 is Callum Maxwell.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and if you're an avid watcher of the LC40 Elite Championship, you'll notice that there is a rider missing. Harrison Day will not be racing this weekend due to a break in his wrist, I believe, but he is okay after suffering a crash on Friday. But he should be out later on in the season, back out to hopefully fight for race victories like we know he can. But Austin Johnson is still up front. It's almost a 3-second lead now. It may even be a 3-second lead by the time we cross the line, as we wait to see it. It's a 3.4-second lead. That was 5/10 faster that previous lap. I mean, Austin Johnson is got some incredible pace right now, but so is his brother Byron. Byron is about 2.5 seconds off Finlay Paul Hill, so we could, with just 4 laps to go, we could see a Johnson 1-2. I mean, the thing about this class is you don't know what the results can be until it's over, as we've seen today. I mean, there's been so much crazy races here at Llandow. It produces such good racing in the circuit because that's a bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, about 3 or 4 of the races that we've had earlier today have ended and finished and were decided on the last lap. And it has been absolutely incredible. Very, very exciting racing indeed, as we see Austin Johnson going over the timing line. There we go. A 52.889 for him. That is a very, very good lap. The lap record here is a 59.14 set by Archie Gibbs. Now, as we are looking on screen, there we go. That is the number 25. I believe that's Chloe Gleeson just going out of shot. There we go. And then we've got the battle here for 7th, 8th and 9th, I believe, as we switch back to Austin Johnson as he goes through his very technical fast part of the circuit. It's a very technical circuit before, as he comes over here into the right-hander. There we go, switches the balance on to the left and switches it once again to the right as he comes round the corner to go onto the Spitfire straight. Look at him there, trying to make his body as small as possible so he can get a bigger slipstream advantage than his opponents, as Austin Johnson comes over the start-finish lines. Last lap was a 53.1 very dead pretty much, as we see Finlay Polhill now crossing the line, and the gap is now 5.645 seconds, which is incredible, and the gap from Byron Johnson to Finlay Polhill is 4.182 seconds, a very very respectable gap indeed. So it's about 9.8 seconds between Austin Johnson and his brother Byron Johnson. I'm not too sure Byron will be very happy with that, but I'm sure he will be riding his hardest.
Yeah, certainly will. I mean, he is on an air-cooled bike, so he's slightly at a disadvantage when it comes to power and performance. But Byron Johnson at Lyd, if I remember correctly, did take a victory on that air-cooled bike, so they are able to compete, and it's great to see the bikes being able to compete at such a high level. But anyway, as we see Finlay Polhill coming down the back straight, the Spitfire straight, to the final corner, as he goes on to the last lap, Austin Johnson is already on the last lap. Austin Johnson is just going to bring it home right now. He has a 6.4 second advantage over Finlay Polhill, and he set the fastest lap that time round with a 52.7. I mean, there's nothing stopping Austin Johnson right now. He is feeling the bike. He has a great feedback from the bike. He can throw it about the corners. Look, you can see the confidence he has. Just place it on his knee, picking it up, getting on the throttle, going through the chicane, going the final sector in the final lap of this race. Austin Johnson is going to try and win. All he needs to do is stay on for one more corner, make it round. He's trying to get as tucked in as possible. He is going to the final corner, one final time. Austin Johnson wins in the LC40 Elites. He takes the checker flag. He will be absolutely delighted with that. We await on Finlay Polhill, which we see in our picture now, coming round, takes checker flag. He will be pleased with that too. And the brother of Austin, Byron Johnson, on the air-cooled bike, takes third place to round off the podium. We see Sam Gardner now coming in to take fourth place. Matthew Thomas in the bright green bike, the 128, taking fifth place. He will be delighted with that. Corey Gleeson, as we wait for Corey Gleeson to come round to take sixth, but there's a big battle raging on here for a final few positions, because one thing we love about his classes is that there's battles all the way throughout the field, and as we see, it was like Dylan Toreen just got 7th place there. That was a battle from 7th to 9th, so even for the last couple of positions, there is battles all the way through. So Austin Johnson takes the race win by 7 seconds. He will be delighted with that. He'll be absolutely buzzing. Finlay Polhill in second, Byron Johnson in third, Sam Gardner fourth, Matthew Thomas fifth, Chloe Gleeson sixth, Dylan Toreen seventh, Oliver Hall eighth, and Callum Maxwell ninth, and finally Jensen Bishop rounds out the top 10. And yeah, it was a great race, Alex. I think you can agree.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, an incredibly dominant performance there from Austin Johnson. You know, Finlay Polhill couldn't challenge Austin Johnson on that occasion. You know, Johnson just started well, and then just kept his consistency, kept his dedication, didn't push too hard, and that's what gave him the win. Obviously, winning 7 seconds from Finlay Polhill, who I imagine was just trying to maybe just keep second, maybe not make many mistakes, just trying to be consistent. And obviously, Byron Johnson with that really good performance as well from him. So as you can see in the paddock now, we have the Senior Mini Motor Championship for 9 laps here, which is still race 2 for these. Now this is a very fun championship, because these are the same bikes that the younger riders use, but these are not the younger riders. These are These are older riders, and they look very cool indeed. As you can just see, all of the oil that is just burning off these two-stroke engines, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So a 22 as you can see, a few riders ride into the commentary box, wave into the commentary box, even, which is lovely to see. So we've got 22 riders on this grid, which is absolutely fantastic to see. There we go, away for the formation lap. So Craig Ashall will start on pole position with Josh Birkin alongside. On the second round of the grid, we have Will Howarth in third and Matt Birkin, obviously Josh Birkin's brother, in P4. There's always some good racing between those two brothers. Holly Harris starts P5 alongside Nick Bennett in P6. Mark Payne is in P7 with Chris Yeomans in P8. Rhys Gentry is in P9, and rounding out the top 10, David Nyat in the number 22. Number 11 is Ross Michael in the number 79 with Callum White starting P12. Keaton Payne starts P13 alongside Lamar Morgan, who starts P14. Number 15 is Lewis King. 16th is Shannon King. 17th, Elliot Seal. 18th, Ruby Wild. 19, Robert Kitely. 20, Robert Bayliss. 21, Steve Johns. And bringing up the 11th row of the grid, it's Rob Gentry in the number 147. Now look at that, what a sight that is. As you can see on your camera, it does look absolutely incredible, and I'm sure this is going to be some mini Moto madness here, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So Will Howarth is actually second, I believe, and Josh Birkin is actually on pole position, I believe. Yeah, so not too sure where that is, and Matt Birkin is third, and Holly Harris is fourth. So not too sure where Craig Ashall has gone, but we will see. Oh, he's fifth. He's fifth. So. Yes, not too sure what's happened there, but we will see. There we go, we get a thumbs up. We are going to get a point to the lights. There we go, and here we go. We're waiting for the red light for the Senior Mini Motor Championship. Here we go, waiting for the red light. There we go, and it's lights out, and away we go, go. A very, very quick start there, as that is, I believe, Will Howarth, I think, going into the lead of the race. The bright orange bike just behind him. Everyone getting through the first corner safely, which we love to see. As we see all of them going one by one through these first few corners, as we see one bike there absolutely pouring out oil smoke, which is very common with these two-stroke bikes. So a very, very decent starting lead for a lot of these drivers. To see someone going on the inside of another rider there. That is a brave move on the first lap. First lap sends. We are seeing here, as we see, a very, very, very good battle between these two riders here as they come onto the back of the Spitfire straight. Is there going to be a move made in? I think there will be. Yes, they're going side by side down into the final corner, and that is a move complete. A very, very well done move from, I believe that was one of the Birkin brothers. Yes, it was. So those two, P2 and 3, are the Birkin brothers. So they will have a fantastic scrap. You know, these two might be brothers off the track, but on track, I tell you what, they are definitely competitors. So 96, the Will Howarth ridden bike is in the lead of the race. You see Matt Birkin there on screen. So Will Howarth leads from Matt Birkin in second. He takes second place away from the number 2 of Josh Birkin, his brother. Holly Harris, a great fourth position with Craig Ashall. As we see the number 32, I believe that is. Not too sure that is, but it looks like he's going very, very slow there. Not too sure what's happened there. So that is Will Howarth, as we see them move on to the inside of someone there. So yeah, Will Howarth in the lead of this race. That is the two Birkin brothers in second, third, Holly Harris in third, Craig Ashall in fifth, Nick Bennett in sixth, Chris Yeomans in P7, Mark Payne P8, and Rhys Gentry P9, and David Nyat in P10.
Yeah, Will Howarth got up to a cracking start at the start of the race. I mean, we've seen it in Moto Team earlier. Will Howarth can control a race, and he can also battle with people, so he has everything he needs at the circuit, and he has the extra bike time by competing in multiple classes. And the Birkin brothers in second and third. If you've never watched senior mini motor racing, you will not know the Birkin brothers, but the Birkin brothers, it's very, very rare that they both finish the race. I mean, even in race 1 today, we've seen one of the Birkin, I believe it was Josh, that went down and managed to keep the bike running and get a third place out of it still. But the Birkin brothers race so hard. All these riders race so hard. Will Howarth, I mean, although Will Howarth's in the lead right now, if Matt Birkins was to catch up to him, he would happily race Matt Birkins to the grass. I mean, they respect each other, but they're absolutely ruthless. They're all out here for fun, because this is what we race for here at FAB-Racing. We race here mainly for fun. Will Howarth is having fun right now, out in the lead. A 1.7 second lead over Matt Birkins, which has around a 6/10 gap between his brother Josh, with Holly Harris sticking in there in fourth place right now. Craig Ashall has had a pretty good race so far. He's sitting in fifth. He will be happy with that, but right now, at the midpoint of the race, it's just trying to find the flow and get into it and see where your pace is at, and try get close to another competitor to see where you can become faster at and where you can improve yourself as a rider. So in race 3 today, they can go full attack and, well, try and battle Will Howarth, which is out in the lead right now and just coming over the line. And I believe the gap's actually the same, so they're running about the same pace right now, both Matt Birkins, Josh Birkins and Will Howarth, which means that I don't think we're going to see changes anytime soon. But the good thing is, this is racing, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that that driver that we saw slow, sitting down and having a problem was David Mayat in the number 22, who's running P10. So unfortunately he's kind of dropped down the order, which is very unfortunate for him, as we see these two riders coming into the final corner. What a spectacular sight that is. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, Will Howarth still having a fantastic lead, a commanding lead of this race. The two Birkin brothers are less than a second away from each other, so this could be a very, very tasty end to the race with 4 laps to go at present, as we see some of the front markers, I believe, lapping a few other drivers. Here we go. The two Birkin brothers have just gone by. They are within 1.2 seconds now. So Matt Birkin has pulled out maybe about 2/10, I think, on his brother of Josh Birkin. Yeah, it's looking like a very entertaining race. It's Will Howarth getting that really good start, putting himself into the lead, and it's looking like it can be a very, very, very interesting race.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Will Howarth right now is commanding, currently he's commanding the race, he's dominating the race. Matt and Josh, there's really nothing they can do now, as Will Howarth is coming in the last sector of the track for it now to then make it 2 laps to go. I mean, they need a miracle right now for them to get up to Will Howarth and have a scrap. I mean, the senior mini motos, it's usually closer than this, but they're just, maybe some riders are just taking it a bit more easy in race 2, trying to get points in the bag, as this is still only round 2 in the championship out of our 8-round calendar here at FAB. So it's early in the season, they may just want points and they may leave the pushing 115% until the end of the season. But Will Howarth still lead, but I believe the gap has went down to 1.2 seconds over Will Howarth and Matt Birkins over the past few laps, as Will Howarth makes his way past traffic. The traffic is something that either can help you or completely go against you. But the key is not to get too frustrated with traffic, because if you do, that is when you make a mistake, and instead of losing maybe half a second, you lose 15 seconds by pushing too hard and falling on the deck. As Will Howarth goes around the final corner to then make it 1 lap to go. The last lap flag there, the black cross on the yellow flag, signifies to the rider this is the last lap. He will know it now. He will know all he needs to do is bring it home. He has a decent gap over Matt Birkins, being 1.9 seconds now. So I believe Matt Birkins may have just got held up slightly by some back markers that lap. So Will Howarth is just going to take it home, try and get through back markers clearingly. He looked behind him there, seen that Matt Birkins is a little bit behind him, so he doesn't have too much to worry about. He can run his own lines. He doesn't have to be defensive. He can hit his own braking markers. He can just bring it home. I mean, it's so hard to stay focused whenever you know you're in for a good position on the final lap. You're thinking about everything, trying to push the thought of the win to the back of your mind until you get around this final corner. But Will Howarth is fine. He has made it around the final corner. He is going to win this race, and he pops a little wheelie going over the line. Will Howarth is absolutely delighted. Matt Birkins will be very happy to get a second place with his brother Josh coming home in third. Both Birkins making it across the line. Holly Harris making it past some back markers, bring it home in fourth place, with Craig Ashall in fifth. Yeah, you see a slow rider there.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the 711 rider of Nick Bennett. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Unfortunately, he's going to have to stop there. Unfortunately, it looks like he's okay though. He's absolutely okay. So the top 10 of this race, Will Howarth wins the race from the Birkin brothers. They both finished this race, which is lovely. Matt Birkin finishes P2, Josh Birkin P3, Holly Harris, the British Talent Cup rider, finishes P4, Craig Ashall in P5, Chris Yeomans in P6, Mark Payne in P7, Rhys Gentry in P8, P9, Ross Michael, and P10, Elliot Seal. Wow, Lewis, what a race again. What a commanding lead from Will Howarth.
Yeah, it certainly was, but more drama has happened even though the race is finished. I've been told by race control that Matt Birkins has a jump start penalty, so he has been demoted one place, meaning that Josh, his brother, has now bet him. So Matt Birkins will be third place. So that now the new podium will be Will Howarth taking the win, Josh Birkins second, and Matt Birkins in third.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure Josh will be slightly delighted with that, getting the second place over his brother. A very, very interesting, very interesting race indeed. Obviously, a commanding win for Will, and it's lovely to see. Him winning a race there. So as we see all the riders, I believe they're waiting to come out onto the track. That is the Mini GP50 Championship, which is a very, very interesting championship. So these the bikes that you've just seen on your screen now, race. In fact, these that you can still see on your screen are the Mini Moto. So these are essentially shrunken down motorbikes, hence the name Mini Motors. But the next ones that we're going to be seeing is the Mini GP50, and these are much more kind of full-sized bikes. They're powered by a 2-stroke liquid-cooled 50cc engine, which is 60% more power than the Mini Motors. It's got a 6-speed gearbox with a manual clutch, and these bikes are going to be capable of 80 miles an hour, which is absolutely nuts. The riders age from anywhere in between 9 to 15 years old, and riders can be aged 8, but they need to have completed 6 full rounds in either the Mini Motors Pro or Elite, and quote-unquote shown good ability to race in this championship. These bikes have 12-inch wheels as well. So as we can see the bikes on the grid. If you've just joined us, welcome. We are about to watch the Mini GP50s go around for the formation lap. As we can see, the two front riders with the Minion helmet and the Spider-Man helmet is absolutely I absolutely love to see. Let's hope both of those characters can give each rider a bit of a boost. Hey, Lewis.
Yes, certainly. I mean, it's always close racing that we have here in the Mini GP50s. We're going to have Marco Holt on pole position, as you said, with the Minion helmet, with Archie O'Brien in second place with the Spider-Man helmet. Bill Harris in third, and Luke Fitchett will start in fourth. Finlay Paulhill on the 199 bike will start in fifth, with Frankie Watson in the bright white bike starting in sixth. Harley Baker, Preston Baker racing the Mini Moto's brother, will start in 7th, and Bailey Lawrence will round off the grid in 8th in the, well, it's hard to miss, pink bike on the 09. Now, on the warm-up lap there, just before, they were doing practice starts, I noticed that Archie O'Brien and Marco Holt both, you can see it now, Archie O'Brien has positioned his bike to face towards the left. That is just so now he can get a better launch and hopefully squeeze Marco Holt a little bit more, and so he can try and get a race line, try and get the inside line straight away. He's thinking already before the race has started. He's planning his race. He's thought of this, and he's playing it very, very tactically as we wait. The marshal signifies, points to the lights. All riders watch the lights. The revs will rise, the tension will rise, the lights are on, the lights are off, the way we go. And now we see Marco Holt has made an amazing launch with Luke Fitchett taking second place. Archie O'Brien has been pushed down to third with what I believe Frankie Watson down the order there in sixth place. But Marco Holt leads the way with Luke Fitchett still in second place. Now, will this be like what we've seen before? Luke Fitchett is amazing at defending from Archie O'Brien, but as soon as Archie O'Brien gets past, there's no catch them. So will he play it slightly differently and maybe release the brakes off the corner, try to run him a little bit more wide, trying to mess up his flow, because as soon as Archie O'Brien gets past, he is gone. Luke Fitchett will know that. He's learnt from that from the first race. As we see Archie O'Brien looking towards the inside line going into the final corner there, but Luke Fitchett does not run wide. He's not leave any gap for Archie O'Brien as we head round to start the second lap of the race. Marco Holt still leads with what is a 4/10 of a second gap. Luke Fitchett, though, is taking a far more inside line, trying to defend. As you can just see at the back of your picture there, Archie O'Brien was taking a much wider line, trying to carry more momentum, trying to carry more corner speed. But there's an issue. There's Luke Fitchett in the way. He is so good at defending, but Archie O'Brien is looking up the inside, but Luke Fitchett defends again. Luke Fitchett is an absolute demon on the brakes and at defending. He knows where to place his bike to make Archie O'Brien's life so difficult. Can Archie O'Brien do anything going into this final corner here? Archie O'Brien pulls out a slipstream. He goes alongside. He goes down the inside going into the final corner. Archie O'Brien takes second place, but Luke Fitchett tries to get a cut back. But I think he was a bit too low in the power band. Cannot get the drive out of the corner, and now Archie O'Brien is on his way, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say quite a bad start from Archie O'Brien. He did bog down a little bit. I think he just maybe released the clutch at the wrong angle, which obviously allowed Luke Fitchett to go past. But as we can see, to speak of the devil, Mr. Spider-Man himself, Archie O'Brien, he has managed to get that position away. He's managed to get it ahead from Luke Fitchett, which is fantastic to see. He's using his spidey senses to sense where Luke was going in the final corner, and of course he took that position back. But now he's actually chasing Marco Holt for the lead, which is fantastic. So we've got the battle of the Minions v the Spider-Man battle, which is lovely to see. In fact, it goes down the inside. What an incredible move! He came from nowhere. Absolutely incredible. Archie O'Brien takes the lead of the race. What an incredible move! He wasn't even anywhere near him in the last corner, and he just had the drive and overtook him by the first corner. Absolutely sensational. Archie O'Brien setting the first lap in the 49 to 49.707. Marco Holt's last lap a 50.358, so he gained half a second on him in that. He's gained again there, but I say that, but now Marco Holt is trying to come back at Archie O'Brien, going this way and that way. Can Marco Holt, I reckon they'll be going side by side down here, but can Marco Holt get a good exit? I think he's going to send it to the inside. Yes, he does indeed. Is he going to do it? Oh, they're side by side going over the start-finish line. Archie O'Brien still keeps first place, but this is a fantastic battle for the lead. Marco Holt not letting Archie O'Brien go, but I tell you what, Archie O'Brien is going, I really need to get a move on, but Marco Holt is going, no, get back here. Indeed, absolutely incredible scenes here indeed. And on that last lap, Marco Holt was actually 6/10 slower than Archie O'Brien, so it's going to be really interesting with 6 laps to go to see just where these drivers will finish.
Yes, certainly. Marco Holt is not going to let this race win go easily. Marco Holt knows how to ride a 50. He was riding one last year as well. Marco Holt is trying his absolute hardest. Marco Holt pulls out the slipstream, goes alongside. He dives up the inside to go into the final car. Marco Holt takes the lead. He pushes Archie O'Brien slightly wide as we head round with 5 laps to go. Marco Holt took a far wider sweeping line, which invited Archie O'Brien up the inside there, but he closed the door and then forced him to back out of the move. Marco Holt now leads with the fastest lap of the race being a 49.5, just 5/10 off the lap record, but Marco Holt is back into the lead of the race. Marco Holt, with just 5 laps to go, is not letting this go easy, but neither will Archie O'Brien. Archie O'Brien's looking for another way past. Just 5 laps to go, he's going to look. Will it be down the Spitfire straight with the slipstream? He is building up a move right now. He's trying to get as much momentum coming out of chicane. He pulls it to the slipstream, tucks in as wide as much as he can, but he cannot make it this lap. He's taking a much wider line. He's just trying to go alongside with just 4 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, this race is absolutely sensational to see Archie O'Brien going this way and that way, trying to take the position away from Marco Holt, but Marco Holt is not allowing it. He's really so committed to getting that knee on the ground going through that section of corners there. This is so interesting, but Archie O'Brien is trying to use his spider webs to cling on to the back of Marco Holt and bring him back into second place, because he wants that win as they go side by side. Yes, they do, into this corner. Oh no, Holt just manages to have a bit more overspeed on Archie O'Brien using the wider line there as they come through this right-hander, through the left-hander, through the right-hander. Archie O'Brien will get the slipstream going down the Spitfire straight. Is he going to be able to send it on the inside? No, he's just a little bit too far back on this lap, but there are 3 laps to go in this race, and this is between any of them. But I say that, but Archie O'Brien is alongside him. Is he going to make it in the first corner? No. Marco Holt just manages to hold on to the lead, but Archie O'Brien is really not letting him go easy as we move on and see the battle between Luke Fitchett and Bill Harris here. So the battle for 3rd and 4th actually is only 4/10 second, which is lovely to see. But Archie O'Brien really not letting Holt go. He's there. He's letting Marco Holt know in his mirrors, look, I'm here, I want this win, and he's not giving up easy. But Marco Holt again is just trying to push as we see Luke Fitcher and Bill Harris having a fantastic scrap for the final podium position of this race as the leaders come through onto the Spitfire straight. And I think Archie O'Brien is just backing off the last few laps, and I think he might go for a last lap dash to try and take the lead away from Marco Holt as they go over the timing line. Marco Holt leads from Archie O'Brien. As you see Luke Fitcher, there we go. And also this is Bill Harris and Philip Hill, I believe, for the battle of this. Oh no, I think that was a battle marker. Luke Fitcher and Bill Harris for this battle here. As we see this battle in between there, as we now look at Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien. Once again, he's even closer this lap. He's even closer. This could be anybody's race. And after they finish this lap, it will be the final lap. This is either one of these fantastically talented riders' race as they come through the right-hander to go onto the back on the pit straight. And this is going to be the second to last chance. Archie O'Brien down the inside, he's going to send it, but I think Marco Holt will just have the overspeed. But Archie O'Brien goes for the cutback. Can he do what he did before and go on the inside as we go onto the last lap? We see Marco Holt defending from Archie O'Brien. Is Archie O'Brien going to be able to get the lead away from this race? Only a few corners remain of this race. Is Marco Holt going to be able to keep it ahead, or is Spider-Man Archie O'Brien going to be able to get ahead of him? Look at how close they are. They are tooth and nail. They are faring to rear wheel close right now. This is absolutely incredible. Archie O'Brien backing out from that corner there because I think he's going to try and set up a line so he can go on the inside on the final corner, which we have seen so many races decided with that move today. So here we go onto the final straight. Here we go. Archie O'Brien goes for the last lap send. Is he going to do it? He's on the inside. It's going to be a dead heat to the line, but it's going to be Marco Holt who just wins this race by 0.3 of a second. Lewis, another fantastic race decided in the final few corners.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, Marco Holt played that perfectly at the final corner. He knew what he was doing. He gave enough room for Archie O'Brien to try and make the move, but there we have it. Marco Holt takes the win by 0.3 of a second over Archie O'Brien, with Luke Fitcher in third, Bill Harris taking fourth, Finlay Paulhill in fifth, Harley Baker in sixth, Frankie Watson seventh, and Bailey Lawrence round out the top eight. But what a race that we had there. Marco Holt he played it perfectly, and I believe Archie O'Brien at the opposite side of the circuit, coming out of one of the hairpins, he had a slight his rear end slightly lost grip, and made him lose drive coming out the corner, which widened the gap a little bit more going on to the last half of the lap with Marco Holt. But Marco Holt will be absolutely delighted with that, and as we see, a complete different type of bike, a complete different looking type of bike, and that is going to be the Extreme 200 that is out next. And Alex, tell everyone about this class.
Yeah, this is a fantastic class. So this is the Pit Bike Open class, powered by a two-stroke 55 or 55 to 110cc two-stroke engine, or a four-stroke 140cc to 200cc engine. It's open to any pit bike style machine that you want. So if you have a pit bike sitting at your garage and you want to do something with it, come here and come and race it. All you need is a few things apart from that, obviously your race gear mainly. This class is open to anyone over the age of 17, and wheel sizes are anywhere between 10 and 17 inches. Bike modifications are permitted for this class, which makes it a very, very interesting race indeed. So we have 14 riders coming on here, and you can tell that a lot of these bikes are four-stroke because they have a much deeper growl as opposed to the two-strokes, which are a lot higher pitched. Now, this is going to be a very, very interesting race because as we see on the front, that's Rossi Banham there on screen. So he's going to have a very, very good race. I think he's going to start P2, I believe, as we see Filip Surbiak on P1. Not too sure what Russi's waiting for, but yeah. They're all three are starting at the back. Never mind, all three the three riders starting at the back to go on their formation lap. So it looks like once again 3 drivers are electing to start at the back of the grid. Absolutely sensational. We had this a few races before. I think there's a few drivers would like a challenge there, just electing to start at the back, which we love to see. We know certainly from this weekend just what a talented rider Rossi Banham is. So Filip Surbiak starts on pole position. Rossi Banham doesn't start P2, but that's obviously what we've got here. Reece Peacock starts P3, and Zach Turian starts P4. Ollie Walker starts P5 with Chris Wells starting P6. Jack Andrews starting P7. Charlie Nesbitt starting P8. Noah Gullier starts P9. Jamie King starts P10. Sean Whittaker P11. 47 of Jake Arch starts P12. Adam Redding in P13, and the 64 of Clayton Edmonds starts P14. Obviously, don't know how accurate that grid is going to be, of course, because we have the 3 riders starting at the back of the grid. But this is going to be a very, very fun championship. These are very, very quick machines, and they are very, very, very interesting indeed. As yes, we definitely see Rossi Banham starting at the back, as we see someone getting a penalty there, which is rather not good for whichever rider that is. But yes, let's have a look. We're just waiting for the thumbs up. We get the thumbs up. The marshal is going to point at the lights. Here we go. So we are going to see the Extreme 200 class. Wait for the light to go red. There we go. The light is on, and it's lights out. Away we go. A fantastic start there from Filip Surbiak, as we see. They are going 2 by 2 by 2 into here. And what a fantastic first few couple of corners for these riders. You know, none of them, all of them, absolutely on the limit coming through the first few corners. Surbiak not having that much pressure there, because obviously Rossi Banham starting at the back. Let's see where he can get to within this race. Now, Zach Turian is obviously in P2. Reece Peacock is in P3. Chris Wells P4. Ollie Walker P5. And obviously the three riders starting at the back is Charlie Nesbitt, Jake Archer, who have convinced Rossi Banham to start at the back as well, as we see the first place of Filip Surbiak, and the 3 wide going into the final corner. Oh wow, what a sensational bit of racing there. They're going to try and go 3 wide again over the start finish line, just nearly almost 3 wide, Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, Rossi Banham and Charlie Nesbitt and Jake Archer all started at the back of the grid there. They realised, I think, that they cannot stop Filip Surbiak with the form that he is in today. He is leading out front after just 1 lap by 2.6 seconds, and that gap is just going to widen. So I believe that Rossi Banham, Jake Archer and Charlie Nesbitt thought it would be a bit more fun just to start at the back and see how far up front they can get. They're all here for a bit of fun, of course, all British Championship riders, all very accomplished riders that have come back here to FAB for a weekend of fun, a weekend on the bike in the sun in the south of Wales. As we see the number 62 diving up the inside, that is Chris Wells and Zach Turian fighting each other. 2 completely different type of motorcycles there. One's a 2-stroke, one's a 4-stroke. Chris Wells is trying absolute everything to try and get past Zach Turian, but as you can see on the screen there, Noah Gilray, of course, on the Metro Kit style motorcycle, which is quite unusual to see when you're in a race with a bunch of pit bikes, but that is allowed in this class. It's quite an open class where, as long as your engine capacity suits the regulations, you can almost enter in anything you want, as long as, of course, it also has 2 wheels. But Zach Turian still is in second place in this battle for the podium positions, as Filip Surbiak leads up front, as we see our commentary. Filip Surbiak coming around the final corner as Zach Turian and Chris Wells is battling going into the final corner there of the circuit with just 8 laps to go now. Filip Surbiak leads by now 5.1 seconds. There's nothing that can stop Filip apart from himself. It is great. It's just great to see. But Charlie Nesbitt, Rossi Banham and Jake Archer is up into 8th, 9th and 11th. So they're having fun, which is the main point of this. But they're going to be seeing who can finish fight each other. So they are having a race within a race, a personal race, and also the official classifications. But one race that is going on is Zach Tureen and Chris Wells for second and third place. But Noah Guillory is there to pick up the pieces in case of anything happens. He is there to pounce once these boys start to trip up each other. Zach Tureen looks by them. Chris Wells goes down the inside and he's made the move going to the final corner. Zach Tureen tries to get the undercut, gets the two-stroke of the power band, but he cannot make it work. 7 laps to go in this race. Zach Tureen gets pushed in third by Chris Wells. That is great riding. Filip Soroviak on that last lap as well got a 48.8, increasing the lead to 6.56 seconds. But now we see this with Rossi Banham, which has made it up all the way into 9th place, but he's trying to make that into 8th place right now by passing Jack Andrews. But there, just behind him, is Charlie Nesbitt as well. So there's Rossi Banham on your screen. Jack Andrews he's definitely in for a wild ride, but this is racing, everyone's out having fun. Just 7 laps to go in this race, and Filip Soroviak still leads the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So P1 is Filip Soroviak in P1, Chris Wells and Zach Tureen in second and third place. Noah Guillory is in P4, Reese Peacock in P5, Ollie Walker is in P6 with Clayton Edmonds. Never mind, Clayton Edmonds drops down to P8. Jack Andrews goes up to P7. P9 is Jake Archer, and P10 is Rossi Banham. So not too sure what's happened to Rossi Banham there. He's lost a few positions. Very well gained there. Charlie Nesbitt in P11 and Sean Whittaker in P12. Adam Redding is in the final position in P13. But as we can see, this gap here is the battle for third place, for second place even. It is Chris Wells, Zach Tureen, Noah Guillory and Reese Peacock all fighting for the same bit of tarmac, which doesn't usually work out in racing. But let's see just what these racers can do as we come onto the Spitfire straight. Down the back straight, is there going to be any moves? Don't think there's going to be any sends this lap. No, there is not. The order will remain the same, or will it? And no, never mind. There was a fantastic move there. Let's see Reese Peacock and Oliver Walker go past Noah Guillory. So he's lost 2 positions on that last lap. And as we have 5 lap to go as we watch Filip Soroviak. Oh, and there is a yellow flag on track. 2 riders. There is Peacock. Oh, that is Peacock potentially. Not too sure yet. We're just having a look, just trying to get the bike started. That is the number 29 now. So Peacock involved in that as well. So I'm not too sure what's happening there. But yes, as we see, this beautiful coloured car of Filip Soroviak. There we go. On he goes. With a gap with 4 laps to go of 10 seconds to Chris Wells, because they are all preoccupied with this battle here. Look at how many bikes are together. I can't even keep count. I think there's about 5 cars side by side over the start finish straight. Oh, wow, fantastic. As we see Soroviak go through there, coming through these a few corners to go onto the back of the Spitfire straight. There we go, all on his own, all on his own. Literally no one else in view. He can stop for a cup of tea at the start finish line and probably still win this race at the moment. It's absolutely sensational. What a rider Filip Soroviak has proven to be this weekend.
Yeah, he certainly is. From Friday practice, he's been absolutely on it. He's every single practice session I've watched him, he's been getting the rear end up, going into the braking zones, skipping the rear wheel off the ground, using his back brake. He has so much confidence in the motorcycle, and it's great to see. The gap now 11.2 seconds, but I believe that was both Zach Tureen and Reese Peacock that went down there. So that was the second and third place riders. So it means Chris Wells and Ollie Walker are now battling for the podium. But Rossi Banham is now up into 5th place, just passing Jake Archer. Keep in mind, Rossi Banham, Jake Archer and Charlie Nesbitt all came from the back of your grid, and they're now all 5th, 6th and 7th. It's a great ride that they're on right now with just 3 laps to go, and Rossi Banham made a mistake at some point in this race, so without that mistake, you really question of how high up these riders can get. But they do have another race later on today, so we're just going to have to wait and see. As we can see, Charlie Nesbitt having a bit of fun, trying to dive up the inside of Jake Archer. Will he do it? As we wait and see, yes he will. Charlie Nesbitt overtakes Jake Archer with just 2 laps to go in this race. Charlie Nesbitt almost wipes off the front wheel of Jake Archer there, as we wait and see as Filip Sorowiak widens the gap now to 12.4 seconds. It's been an impeccable ride from him. It's the same as race 1. He's just got in front and he's just done what he had to do, set lap times that he's had to do, and let everyone else suffer behind him. I mean, Chris Wells and Ollie Walker will be very, very happy with a second and third, but Zach Tureen and Reece Peacock obviously have crashed out at some point in this race. So without that happening, the gap may not be as big, but you cannot take it away from Filip Sorowiak. He has rode amazing this race. He's doing a little doctor's dangle, get his knee on the ground. He feels so confident of his motorcycle, and it's so great to see someone like this just throwing the bike over to the other side now and back over to the right, place it on his knee, going down the Spitfire straight for the final time on the final lap of this race as he front end starts to try, a rear wheel lifts off the ground, he goes round the final corner and he goes across the line to take the checker flag and the victory as we wait to see Chris Wells or Ollie Walker come across the line. Looks like Chris Wells will take second place as we wait to see how big of a lead Filip Sorowiak had. A 13.7 lead. Wow, what a ride.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I believe that's the biggest winning margin we've had this weekend, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So that incident that we saw a bit earlier in the race, it was involving Zach Tureen and Reece Peacock. But a fantastic drive, fantastic ride from Filip Sorowiak. So, top 10, Filip Sorowiak wins the race by 13.769 seconds from Chris Wells in second. Ollie Walker takes the final podium position. Noah Gullery in P4, and Rossi Banham, Charlie Nesbitt and Jake Archer, all of those starting at the back, finish P5, 6 and 7. Jack Andrews P8, Clayton Edmonds P9 and Sean Whittaker P10, and Adam Redding just outside the top 10 in P11, and obviously the two DNFs of the retirements of Zach Tureen and Reece Peacock. What an absolutely fantastic race there for those riders. So that was the final race 2 of the day, which means all the races you see now will be the final races for all these riders, which means that this is the AC40 Rookie Championship as well. You can see kind of all the parents coming onto the start line as we see the final bikes go back into the pit lane. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race, this next race, the AC40. You know, we've got 21 riders, which is absolutely incredible to see. The ages for these AC40 rookies is 6 to 13 years old. You know, these bikes are powered by two-stroke air-cooled 40cc engine. These bikes are the kind of the least powerful of all of the mini motos, which means they have a 10mm exhaust restrictor, which is upgraded to 14mm in the AC40 Pro Championship. So riders that finish in the top 6 in this championship must move on to different classes in the following season. So it must mean that they must go to the AC40 Pro class or whichever. We've seen a lovely little fist bump between Sebastian Gaslowski and I think someone that he's come with, which is absolutely lovely to see. We do have a message from Taylor Tomlinson, who does start on the front row, the number 77, to say happy birthday to Grandpa, who is in Crete at the moment, a lovely warm country in southern Greece. So I hope that Taylor's grandpa is having a fantastic holiday and a lovely birthday. So as we see all these riders on the grid getting ready to go out for their warm-up laps. We're seeing all of them going out now, and it's absolutely lovely to see this. So starting on pole position is Sebastian Gaslowski, who has been performing fantastic this weekend alongside Taylor Tomlinson to complete the first row of the grid. Logan Cousins starts P3 with Seth Hayward in P4. Tyler Hartley starts P5. Preston Baker starts P6. Archie Hooper starts P7 with Nicholas Dunwoody starting P8. Josh Perkins starts P9 with Kai Hawking rounding out the top 10. 11th is Annabelle McCarthy starting P11 with Max Johnson starting in P12. Matthew Jennings is in P13 with Caelan Ratcliffe in P14. Jensen Ansell in P15 with Daisy Paulden in P16. Peyton Richards is P17 alongside Jensen Cedras, who starts P18. Oliver Wilson starts P19. Danny Longhurst in P20. And the final rider on the grid is Freddie Taylor on the 11th row of the grid. Now, this is a fantastic championship. You know, this is on the road to Moto GP and at BSB. So if obviously all of these riders want to be in Moto GP, and there is a lot of talent on this grid, which is fantastic to see, and I'm sure a lot of them will go on to do fantastic things in their racing careers. But that is in the future. We need to focus on the now and the present, and race 3 of the AC40 Rookie Championship. This is going to be a good race, I've got a feeling. So let's have a look. Let's wait for the final riders to join the grid. Then we'll get a thumbs up at the back of the grid, and then we'll get a point to the lights from the front of the grid, and that is when this race will start. It's looking like a very packed grid. It's a lovely day here in sunny southern Wales, and it's going to be an awesome race, I feel. So just waiting now for the thumbs up at the back of the grid. Is it going to go up any second? Hopefully sometime soon. There we go, we get the thumbs up. We then get a point to the lights. Let's have a look at this race. So the riders are ready. The red light is on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the young driver. Sebastian Gieslowski gets a good stop. I think that might just be Taylor Tomlinson who has taken the lead away from Sebastian. So that is going to get Sebastian a little bit, hopefully, pumping with adrenaline, so he can catch the number 77 bike of Taylor Tomlinson. Fantastic there. Seth Hayward currently in third position with a few very close bikes here. Oh, there was almost a very send on the inside there. So the current I think order off the line, Taylor Tomlinson obviously took the lead away from Gieslowski, but Gieslowski, if there's something we have seen in this championship, is he is a very fast rider, which we will see lots of in this race, I feel. There we go, look at all these riders. The top 5 are together, which is very nice to see with P6 and 7 here as they come down the Spitfire straight for the first time, and the final time in this final event, as we see Taylor Tomlinson coming across the line from Sebastian Gieslowski, as we see Taylor Tomlinson obviously setting the fastest time in that race. So top 10 rundown, Taylor Tomlinson in the number 77 start is in P1. Sebastian Gieslowski is in P2 in the 64. Seth Hayward starts is in P3. Logan Cousins is in P4. Preston Baker P5. Obviously, he's got the brother in the other series. Then Tyler Hartley is in P6. Archie Hooper gaining a position there from Nicholas Dunwoody, who moves down to P8. Josh Perkins in P9, and Annabelle McCarthy up into the top 10. It's looking like a very good race, isn't it, Lewis?
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, Taylor Thompson straight off the line got an amazing start, and Sebastian Gieslowski has a lot of ground to make up. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Sebastian Gieslowski is a very fast rider, but him and Taylor all weekend, there's been nothing really separating them. Race 1 was an amazing battle between the two. Race 3, it was a bit back and forward with their lap times reducing and gaining a gap between the two. But this race is not over yet. There's still 6 laps to go. So much can happen in 6 laps in a motorcycle race. As we can see, back markers already getting into play. Now, back markers are a very key thing in this race. I mean, they can, as I said earlier, they can help you or they can go completely against you. You can lose half a second to a second just from 1 or 2 back markers getting in your way. But there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to have luck. Racing is luck sometimes. So Taylor Tomlinson still leads the way. That is not luck, that is pure talent. Same with Sebastian Gieslowski and Seth Hayward. There's so much young and up and coming talent in this class. It's so good to see British motorcycle racing so healthy, as we see Sebastian Gieslowski on our screen right now with his best lap of a 1 minute flat as they head down the Spitfire straight, leading into the final corner on the 64 bike. It is Sebastian Gieslowski in the red and white. It's so distinct to see Taylor Thompson and Sebastian Gieslowski. It's so easy to tell the difference with Seth Hayward and Logan Cousins on our screen right now, who is just 7-year-old, as are all these riders, really, really young. I mean, Sebastian Gieslowski is only 6 years old and he's going around the racetrack at 45 miles per hour. I don't know about you, Alex, but that is something that is special.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I couldn't even imagine this at 6 years old. You know, pounding around the racetrack at that age. It's absolutely incredible to see. I couldn't imagine it on 4 wheels, never mind on 2. As we see, we are obviously halfway through this race with 5 laps to go. Annabelle McCarthy making some great progress up to P9 as Daisy Polden moves up into P14 as well. A great race for both of those riders. As we see Taylor Tomlinson, there we go. I think the gap between Sebastian Gieslowski is actually coming down a little bit as we see the gap or the battle between Seth Hayward and Logan Cousins here. They are, I think, the closest battle on track at the moment with 3/10 between them, which is absolutely nothing in terms of racing, especially when you're having a battle like this. As we are now seeing these two riders going through this very technical part of this racetrack.
Yes, certainly. I mean, one thing that is great to see with these riders is just how their confidence is getting better over time. It's such a hard thing to get used to riding a motorcycle, and getting your knee down, it takes a lot of time for the riders to build up trust in themselves, the bike and their tyres. And this section that we're coming through here, going through the chicane, it takes a lot of time to feel comfortable enough to flick a bike to the right, then straight away to the left, and back over to the right, only then to crack open full throttle down the straight. As we see all first 4 riders in our frame right now going down to the last corner, as we see that there's been as we see on our screen right now that there's just 3 laps to go. Taylor Tomlinson leads by just under half of seconds. So Seth Hayward is still in 3rd place right now. Seth Hayward is having an amazing ride. He is right on the back of these 2 right now. But Sebastian Gieslowski is saying this race is not over yet. There's 3 laps to go. He is pushing as hard as he can to catch up to Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Tomlinson driving a really good race so far, but the gap between the top 3 is only a second, which is a very, very interesting. Not too sure. Yeah, there's a few things going on. Yeah, red flag confirmed. Just seeing that come out. So it was obviously Taylor Tomlinson and Sebastian Gieslowski in P1 and 2. Seth Hayward in 3rd there. As we see, we just see the riders stopping. As we see some really cool. Oh, that's a very cool helmet design. Not too sure which one that is, but it's a very, very cool helmet design. As both of them are talking to each other. I think they spotted that they're on camera, which is lovely. Yeah, so some really cool helmet designs between these riders, which is a really cool thing to see. Really cool thing to see, especially like the suits as well. You know, a lot of them do match the suits, which is very, very interesting. So just up until before the red flag, you know, it was a really interesting race. You know, we had a really good battle between the top 2, and obviously Seth Hayward and Logan Cousins as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Sebastian Gieslowski was just starting to close the gap between Taylor Tomlinson. As Taylor Tomlinson does a little wave to the camera, you can see this smile underneath his helmet. He is so happy as Sebastian Gieslowski and Seth Hayward are having a little conversation. They're all discussing about the race, what happened, what they thought of it, what the battles were like, for anything that they weren't too happy about. But, you know, you can still see the smile under Taylor Tomlinson's helmet. That's so good to see. As Sebastian Gieslowski's dad, I believe, is just coming over to check them, giving them a few words. With Sebastian Gieslowski's lap being a 1 minute flat, which is pretty fast for these restricted motorcycles. But we wait and see, as we're still under red flag conditions right now. All the riders up having the conversation, some of them restarting their bikes now. They may be returning back to the pit lane, I would think, but just 3 laps to go, so we're just waiting to see if that will be a declared result. Right now we're just waiting to find that out as the riders make their way back to the pits in one way, shape or form. But they're still talking right now outside of the track. I believe they're going back to the pit lane now, pushing their bikes back rather than getting them all started again just to then stop it in the pit lane. So there's not really any point. But I believe we don't no official confirmation yet, but just 3 laps to go. This is how the standings look, with Taylor Tomlinson right now half a second in front of Sebastian Gieslowski in second place, with Seth Hayward in third, rounding out the podium positions, Logan Cousin fourth, Preston Baker, as we said earlier, Harlow Baker's brother, who's racing in the Mini GP 7As, in fifth, Archie Hooper sixth, Nicholas Dunwoody in seventh, Tyler Hartley in eighth, Annabelle McCarthy ninth, and Josh Perkins rounds out the top 10. So yeah, that was a great race so far, as we wait to see if that will be declared a result. But yeah, great racing for all 3 races actually in the AC40 rookies.
Yeah, definitely. So, Gieslowski obviously showing his very capable talent behind the wheel. Now we're on top of the bike, as it were in this case. But yeah, a fantastic, really good race. You know, Taylor Tomlinson just had that really good start, and just obviously managed to take the lead away from Gieslowski. And it's a very good race. And I believe we have things are starting to clear up, which is looking really good. I think everyone's okay, everyone's up. So we are, I believe, just waiting until the next race can come out onto the track, which is the big race. So if you're just joining us, welcome. This is Motorsport Radio's coverage of the FAB-Racing 2022 Mini Bike Championship, and the next race is the highlight of the weekend. It is going to be the Mini Moto GP70 LS2 helmets sponsored series. Now this is the pinnacle of this. If you are looking to maybe go up into the British Talent Cup and on the road to MotoGP, this next race, this next series is the one you want to be in.
Yeah, it certainly has been. FAB-Racing is, of course, a road to MotoGP series now, as it's just produced so many good riders over the years, so many to list. Like, I'll just name out a few: Scott Redden, Scott Ogden, Danny Kent, the 2015 Moto3 World Champion. Of course, the last British Grand Prix champion came from FAB-Racing. So these riders are on these Mini GP 7As. They are the ones that in the future we will hopefully see in the likes of British Superbikes, World Superbikes, even MotoGP. These high up series, I mean, and they're all friends. I mean, they're having the conversation before the race starts. We're just waiting for the riders to be released from the pit lane now. They are all going to be quite nervous and anxious, as this is the last race of the weekend for these riders. It's usually the weekend highlight, as this is the premier class of FAB-Racing, because this is the LS2. Because this is the LS2 helmets Mini GP 70 British Championship. This is the one that everyone wants to be in. This is the one that everyone wants to win. As we see a strange looking vehicle driving alongside the circuit now, alongside all the fans that have got out of their cars, stopped at the side of the roads, and are now peering through the fence. Actually, there are some that are sitting on top of the roof of their car to look over the fence, so that they can watch the racing. It just shows that we have a great fan base here in Wales. The Welsh people seem to love their bikes, but we are still waiting for these riders to be released. We should see any minute. Now there we go. We can see them leaving the holding area to make their way onto the grid to then start their one warm-up lap that they're going to get. Keep in mind, this will be the last race of the weekend. All riders will want to win this one. They know if they do not win this one, they have to think about that. That's in their mind for multiple weeks until next round at Ella Park. I mean, we can see the front row there. Ethan Sparks getting a few words of encouragement. The grid's getting checked out right now. We're checking that everyone is in the right positions before we can release them onto their one warm-up lap. So This is the premier class of FAB-Racing because this is the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. This is the last race of the weekend for them as they head out on their warm-up laps. Ethan Sparks starts in pole position, the reigning champion, the only champion to come back to the Mini GP70s. Can he make himself into the first double champion? Ronnie Harris is in second place to round off the front row. Henry McCartney in third with Samuel Munson fourth. Luke Fitchett in fifth with Marco Holt starting in seventh. Joshua Williams in eighth with Ruben Bray ninth. Blake Wilson will be 10th to round out the fifth row. Ollie Sims, number 73 bike, will be starting in 11th with Noah Gildery, which we've seen previously in the Extreme 200 class, and will be starting 12th with Hayden Whiteman rounding out the grid, starting 13th. As we see some more classic vehicles, fans watch at the side of the track, you can just see how many cars are outlined from the outer edge of the circuit. So they're literally just stopped at the side of the roads, watching racing, enjoying racing in the beautiful Welsh sunshine. I mean, it's 18 degrees at the start of the week. It said it was maybe 18, and surprisingly that was pretty accurate. It is boiling today, which means the track's going to be nice and warm. They may get maybe some record shatter today, because these are the future talent of British motorcycle racing, even world motorcycle racing. They're so fast, they're so competitive, there's nothing between them. We wait to see. The tensions are starting to rise in the grid now. We wait and get the thumbs up from the back of the grid, the confirmation that everyone's in the right places. Yes, we get that now. They do a thumbs up back, they point to the lights, all riders watch to the lights. The revs will rise, the tensions will now rise as we wait for lights to go. Let's go out, and now we go racing here for the final race of the weekend for the Mini GP70s. Ethan Sparks leads the way from Ronnie Harris. Ronnie Harris in second place will be absolutely delighted with that, with Henry McCartney in third. Samuel Munson getting off to a pretty decent start as we see Noah Gildery clipping the back of one of the bikes there, lucky to stay on, but he will continue with his race and just try and put that to the back of his mind and get going again. Ethan Sparks leads the way from Ronnie Harris and Henry McCartney. There's not too much movement up front at the moment, but this is the Mini GP70 Championship. These can race like Moto3 motorcycles, where there's about a group of 6, 7, 8 riders all at one. There's the people watching the top of their car. They're going to watch to see them come down this back straight, going into the final corner of this circuit. Ethan Sparks leads the way with just going, well, we're just about to be 10 laps to go now. Just 10 laps to go in this race. It goes past so quick. Ethan Sparks leads the way from Ronnie Harris, Henry McCartney, Samuel Munson. Joshua Williams has been put down to 8th place now, being overtaken by both Blake Wilson and Marco Holt. I believe Marco Holt is up into 6th place. He'll be delighted with that as we see Ronnie Harris has taken the lead in this race. Ethan Sparks will not like that. Ethan Sparks will want to pile on the pressure straight away, try and get past Ronnie Sparks so he can get in the rhythm and just fly away. Alex, this is going to turn out to be a great race.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if any of you were watching earlier, you'll remember that Ethan Sparks and Ronnie Harris were having absolutely fantastic battles. As we say that, Ethan Sparks goes on the inside, but Ronnie Harris manages to keep ahead of Ethan Sparks, which is absolutely fascinating. These two riders are genuinely talents to watch. They really, really are. These two were battling fair into rear wheels last race. But you said about Henry McCarthy is actually getting in the mix with these two riders as well. And it's a very, very, very interesting race to watch so far, because it's not just about pure pace, it's about strategies and where are you going to put your bike in relation to the next straight. Are you going to be able to get the more top speed? Maybe it's worth compromising a few corners before to allow yourself to get a better run on this straight. Speaking of the straight, we're seeing these 3 drivers now include Henry McCartney, and you know what, even Samuel Munson in this as well. These 4 riders right here fighting for first place as we see Ronnie Harris braking for the first corner, getting that knee right on the floor as he does really well. Ethan Sparks obviously following just behind. So top 10 at the moment is Ronnie Harris in the number 66 is in first place. just behind Ronnie, just ahead of Ethan Sparks. Henry McCarthy is in P3. Samuel Munson is in P4. P5 is Luke Fitchie with Marco Holt in P6. Blake Wilson is in P7 as we see Samuel Munson and then the number 72 on the screen. Marco Holt is in P6. Blake Wilson in P7. Joshua Williams P8. Ruben Bray in P9 and Ollie Sims in P10. Noah Gully in P11 and Hayden Whiteman in P12. Yeah, these two are absolutely fantastic riders. They really, really are. And it actually looks like Harris is pulling a little bit of a lead on Ethan Sparks, obviously with 7 laps to go at the line. There we go. As we go over, the gap is now just 0.6 of a second, and 1 second covers the first 3 riders. Now this is absolutely sensational because for all we know, Henry McCartney could pull an absolute blinder and overtake these 2 riders. And he's actually very, very close to the back of Ethan Sparks, I believe. Yes, he is. My word, he has got some pace as Henry McCartney in that number 31. Absolutely sensational here. So I think Sparks is going to need to back away from Harris and actually think more about a defence to defend from Henry McCartney. Now this is a really important corner that I was telling about, because this corner now that we are seeing the riders go on to, this is the Spitfire straight as we see the number 7 now. I don't think Luke Fitchie is going to be able to go on the inside there, but this is a very, very, very good race so far. So 6 laps to go at the lights. We're looking at the number 7, a very nice looking car as we're seeing Marco Holt just on the back of Luke Fitchie, doing very, very well, trying to force him into an error, which is very, very interesting indeed. As we see Ethan Sparks having to defend rather a lot from Henry McCartney. Henry McCartney is on an absolute blinder right now. He wants this second position. There we go. Into the right, into the left, and into the right again. We love this shot here. Yes, we do. Onto the back of the Spitfire straight. There we go. So Harris is leading from Sparks, from McCartney, but how much longer will Sparks be able to defend from McCartney for?
Yeah, just 5 laps to go in this race. I mean, Marco Holt is under extreme pressure right now from Luke Fitchie as Marco just got past him. With just 5 laps to go, Marco Holt will be very, very happy to take out 5th place. But Henry McCartney is all over the back of Ethan Sparks. Ethan Sparks, though, is still focusing on Ronnie Harris in front. He knows that he can potentially bridge up the gap as this race is about halfway through. I mean, Ethan Sparks is having a great race right now, but so is Marco Holt. Marco Holt, of course, wearing the Minion helmet, so easy to tell, and such an incredible looking outfit. All these bikes are really, really similar. I mean, they're almost identical, which means it's all down to the riders, really, which is what racing is really all about. It's all about rider skill, which is what FAB-Racing does the best. But it appears that Marco Holt's got overtaken by Samuel Munson, but Marco Holt is not going to let this go. Marco Holt is going to try and dive up the inside and get past Samuel Munson, but Samuel Munson is trying to get away from him, trying just to get out of this hairpin as tight as he can. He's just trying to get the power, lift up the bike. But then up front, Ethan Sparks is still under pressure. Can Ethan Sparks keep the 2nd place?
I really don't know, to be honest. Only time will tell. We have 4 laps to go in this very, very interesting race so far, as we see the top 3 just go past a back marker there. But these top 3, you can't split them at all. You really can't. 6.5 tenths covers the top 3 riders. That's right, the top 3 riders. Look at this. This is absolutely sensational. This is going to be a fantastic end to the race. This is what we want to see from this. Marco Holt trying to hunt down Samuel Munson, but Ronnie Harris, Ethan Sparks and Henry McCartney. The race hasn't even finished yet, but all these gents need to take a bow because this is some fantastic racing, really close, really respectful racing. Can Henry McCartney do anything to try and get ahead of Ethan Sparks? I think he's trying to set up a move down here in Spitfire. Look at how close he is to the back of Ethan Sparks. Will he be able to send a move there? No, Ethan Sparks has just got a much better exit. Ethan Sparks seems to be a really, really good driver, a rider, sorry. Seems to really get a fantastic exit, but Henry McCartney seems to be able to send it into corners a lot more and go a lot deeper. Ronnie Harris on that last lap got a 47.710. Henry Sparks only 2/100ths of a second behind him, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Absolutely fantastic to see. The lap record is a 47.3 set by Ethan Sparks. They're only about 4/10 of a second behind the lap record even. So to go 2 laps on this, we are looking at Ethan Sparks, who is trying to attack Harris and defend from Ethan Sparks at the same time. It's absolutely incredible. Can McCartney do anything? He does look close to that lap, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. No, coming into the final corner. Here we go. The final lap flag. This is what matters right now. These 3 riders all fighting for a win in the LS Helmets Mini GP70 British Mini Bike Championship. Now this is going to be very, very interesting. That is Ronnie Harris trying to go this way and that way, trying to pull as far away from Ethan Sparks as he can. He is actually holding a bit of a gap between this, but the interesting bit will be between Sparks and McCartney. Can Sparks defend from McCartney? Can McCartney get past? This is the question as we see Ronnie Harris coming on to the final straight. These two are tooth the nail. It's Sparks and McCartney. Is he going to be able to get down the inside? Let's have a look. He's going to try and go for it. He's going to go on the inside, and that's Henry Sparks. They go wheel to wheel across the line, but it's going to be Ethan Sparks that goes second, and Ronnie Harris wins the race. And what a sensational move down the inside from Henry McCartney, but just unfortunate that he couldn't make it stick. Ethan Sparks just carried a bit more speed into the final corner, so it's Ronnie Harris who wins from Ethan Sparks and Henry McCartney on this final race for the Mini GP70. So those 3 came first, so it was Ronnie Harris who won the race ahead of Ethan Sparks and Henry McCartney. 4th fantastic ride from Marco Holt with Samuel Munson in P5. Luke Fitch dropping down the order a little bit, but that's okay, in P6. Joshua Williams in P7. Ruben Bray in P8, Blake Wilson in P9, Noah Gullery in 10th, and Ollie Sims in P11, and Hayden Whitman in the 12th position. What a race once again. Another race where we see it decided, or very nearly decided, on the last lap.
Yes, it was. Ethan Sparks went on Henry McCartney. He gave him just enough room, but Henry McCartney couldn't get anywhere as good of a drive coming out of that corner. As you see, Philip Soroviak congratulating Ronnie Harris. That is why we race. It's fun. There's so much love in this paddock. Everyone is friends. They're so happy. Philip Soroviak is so happy for him. But it was such a good race. I mean, Ethan Sparks on the second to last lap, coming through the chicane, the final chicane, had a monumental moment where his rear end, he lost his rear end temporarily, which then caused his bike just start shaking about. So I believe in that last lap, maybe he just took it a bit easy. He wanted to rebuild his confidence. But that was the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70 British Championship. That was the premier class, and usually the highlight of the weekend was the race 3, but another race 3 now, and a slightly more confusing race 3 to watch, is now the Moto team class. Now this class, which we've seen some great races all weekend. The first 2 races have went down to the wire between Darren Anderson and Will Howarth. Will Howarth, of course, racing also in the senior mini motos. So Will Howarth this will not be his last race today, but for majority of riders it will be. So they will want to win the last race of the day before we go to Ella Park for the next round of the championship. Darren Anderson leads the way on this formation lap as he will start this race on the front row. But in pole position will be Darren Anderson with Will Howarth in second place, Jason Quay in third, Dominic Gardner in fourth, Ian Jackson fifth, Jamie King sixth, Jack Andrews seventh, Phil Maplebeck 8th, Scott Jewett 9th, Iona Glover 10th, Elliot Newton 11th, Mazin Martlew in 12th, and to round off the grid it's Charlie Ems. Now, one thing to note with this Moto Team class, as we mentioned for every single race, just to remind the viewers at home if you're new to this series, that the names on your screen and the names on the timing screen are the owner of the bikes and teams and not necessarily the person riding it, which can make it quite confusing. But I can tell you that Jamie King will not be racing in this race. Obviously last year's champion, but his bike will still be racing with someone else riding it. So we will wait for the lights to start this race.
Yeah. It's going to be a very, very interesting race indeed. If you were watching this race earlier, you'll know that this was a battle and a half between Darren Anderson and Will Howarth. One of the races decided on the last lap, which was absolutely fantastic to see. So the marshal points at the lights, and here we go once again for the racing action and the final race for the Moto Team. Red light is on and it's red light out, and it's going to be Darren Anderson that gets a very good start side by side with Will Howarth. Will Howarth will take the lead of this race. Absolutely sensational to see everyone getting through the first few corners. Nice and lovely. We've got the 333, I believe that is, stalled on the grid, or the 231, sorry. Charlie Ems, he is stalled on the grid and currently is trying to run it, but as we see, Darren Anderson and Will Howarth battling for P1. Fantastic to see so far. So Darren Anderson is currently, Will Howarth is currently in the lead of this race, but Darren Anderson trying to get that position back. You can see the key differences between the two bikes. Darren Anderson is the second car there. You can just see there the 133 doesn't have a fairing, which is a bodywork on the front of the bike, whereas Will Howarth does in the really nice grey kind of coloured bike. As we see, Will Howarth obviously in the lead of the race with a 53.793. In second place we have Darren Anderson, who is obviously in P2. Jason Pugh is in P3. Ian Jackson in P4, who has taken fourth place from Dominic Gardner. Jamie King is in P6 with Phil Maplebeck in P7. Jack Andrews in P8. Scott Jewett in P9. Elliot Newton in P10. Madison Martlew in P11, and obviously Charlie Ems, not too sure whether he managed to get going or not, but he rounds out the top 12.
Yep, certainly. Will Howarth leads the way. He is trying to control this race. He's got a decent gap over Darren Anderson right now, so with just 9 laps to go, he's going to want to try and just control this race, keep it how it is. Although, as much as it would be great racing for Darren and for Will Howarth to then, well, getting a great battle as we've seen this weekend with Darren Anderson, Will Howarth will want to keep it quite distant, as right now the gap is 1.5 seconds, but there is still 8 laps to go in this race. There's so much that can happen, and as we've seen the last race, bat markers can make such a difference. Bat markers can decide your race. I mean, it just depends how lucky you are and when you catch it and how you deal with it. You can be quite impatient when it comes to bat markers, and that can cause someone to even crash and lose a lot of time. You just need to be patient, bide your time and see what happens. As we see Jason Pugh and Dominic Gardner fighting it out for 5th place right now, but this is a great battle going on right now. So Jason Pugh currently leading the way. He will not want to let Suzuki in front of him, but just 7 laps to go. He's looking down the inside. Jason Pugh still leads the way on his, I believe that is a Honda that he is racing at this championship. This championship has such a selection of motorcycles. I mean, there's from Aprilias to Hondas, from Suzuki's, from 2 strokes to 4 strokes, from naked style bikes, from traditional road bikes. It is such an affordable way to go racing. It's such a close battle that you get on track. There's battles all the way from 1st all the way down to your 10th, your 11th, right all the way down the order. It is such good racing. Only 7 laps to go in this race. Will Howarth still leads the way with also the best lap with a 51.7, and I believe his gap may just be starting to widen at the front. As you see Jason Pugh going down the back straight, the Spitfire straight, heading into the hairpin. The hairpin, you don't want to go too tight at this corner. It can be quite bumpy, and you want to get a good drive. You want to be able to get a nice flowing exit on these lower powered machines. rather than on a more powerful bike where you'd set up onto the fat part of the tyre to get the power out of it. These bikes are not the same amount of power, so it's all about your momentum, all about your corner speed, because if you're new to motorcycle racing, whenever you're on the side of the tyre and your bike is on its side, the revs stay up higher for longer, and whenever you go in the throttle, it's easier to get higher up in the rev range rather than just when the bike's setting up. So these riders try to keep it on tyre as much as possible, with as much throttle as possible. But Darren Anderson, it's just showing everyone that he is currently the best at doing that. His bike has run flawlessly as well as he comes across the line right now. We're just looking at the timing screens, and the gap's now 2.2 seconds as Jason Pugh is still in this battle for the final podium position.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Pugh in P3, under attack from Ian Jackson in P4 with Dominic Gardner in P5, and it looks like they are very, very close, very to rear wheel as per usual with these two drivers. Jason Pugh is really trying to mount an insurmountable defence, if you like, but it looks like Ian Jackson is piling on the pressure, and it's very interesting to watch, certainly from our perspective as well as yours, which, you know, it could provide a very interesting finish to this race. So 5 laps to go, and the most interesting battle on track is actually Ian Jackson. Ian Jackson has overtaken Jason Pugh, which is very interesting indeed. The defence works very well, but is Jason Pugh going to be able to get the run down? And it looks like Jason Pugh is going to be overtaken by Dominic Gardner as well. Has he got a problem? I'm not too sure. There we go, and I think he's keeping that position. I say that, but they go side by side into the first corner. No, Jason Pugh keeps position for P4. So Ian Jackson up into the podium position. Dominic Gardner trying to attack Jason Pugh, obviously seeing that there is some point where he's had a weakness, or maybe a moment, or maybe he's ran a little bit too wide, or something like that. But it's going to be very interesting to see if Ian Jackson can keep his position, or whether Jason Pugh, can keep ahead of him. Will Howarth still leading this race from Darren Anderson in P2. In this race, Will Howarth has managed to pull quite a bit of a gap on Darren Anderson, who just crosses the line now. 2.7 seconds separates these two riders. As we see, that's Will Howarth still. As we see the battle for third, he is just coming over the line now, which is incredible to see just where Anderson and Howarth have gone. There we go. So 18 seconds between Ian Jackson and Darren Anderson in second, or 22.8 seconds from the leader to fourth position, which is very interesting. It's a big distance. Is 22 seconds. Obviously, the best lap currently being made by Will Howarth, a 51.763, which is very interesting. The last lap record was a 51.621, so he's only a 10 off of the lap record, which is incredible to see. So, still watching Darren Anderson now. Can he do anything to catch Will Howarth, or is Will Howarth in a class of his own with 2 laps to go? So when Will Howarth comes to the line, this will be his last lap, as we see him move down into there. As we just pan to it, there we go. So that is Jason Pugh losing another position there. Dominic Gardner does get past him, which is very good for Gardner and Jackson. Obviously, Jason Pugh losing positions by position, so maybe he has got a problem. Maybe he's just a bit tired. He's been doing a lot of riding today. Maybe he's just making a few mistakes, which happens to us all. As we see Will Howarth lapping a back marker there as the 133 of Darren Anderson sends it inside, and there we go. The last lap mark, the last lap flag has been shown to Will Howarth. Darren Anderson only a couple of seconds behind him. As we see, anything can still happen in this race. Could Will Howarth maybe make a mistake? We're not sure. Could Darren Anderson get this? As we are looking here at Will Howarth, which is very interesting. As we see Jason Pugh just retaking P4 from Dominic Gardner. So he's clearly, I think I'm right there. Not too sure. As we see Will Howarth coming around this section, the right, the left, and the right again, as there's a back marker coming onto Spitfire Straight, as Darren Anderson is just behind him, but Will Howarth powers down into the final corner, and it's going to be a fantastic win for Will Howarth, who wins the final race of the Moto team Championship as Darren Anderson comes in for a very respectable second place. Ian Jackson, we're going to have to wait quite a while, so I think it's about 20 odd seconds until Ian Jackson comes to collect his third place and podium position. But let's see if Jason Pugh has managed to maybe overtake Dominic Garner. Not too sure then. I think Dominic Garner has just managed to do that, as we see Ian Jackson taking the flag to get the final podium position of this weekend in the Moto team class.
Yes, certainly. It was a great race. Will Howarth takes the win by 2.6 seconds from Darren Anderson, and then Ian Jackson takes home the final position on the podium. Dominic Gardner 4th, Jason Pugh 5th, Phil Maplebeck 6th, Jamie King 7th, Jack Andrews 8th, Scott Jewett 9th, and Elliot Newton rounds out the top 10. That was a great race. I mean, you could hear from the commentary box and through the cameras that Will Howarth's bike is all singing and dancing. It is doing what he wants when he wants. Coming out of the first chicane there, he was getting the front end up a little bit. He was pushing the bike to its absolute limits. I mean, everything he wanted the bike to do, it did. And that is what you want in a race bike. It gives you trust and it gives you the feedback that you want to be able to go fast. But one thing to realise is right now it's really hotting it up. Even in the commentary box right now, the heat is bearing down on the track. These riders in these levers are going to be really warm, really sweaty, and it may affect them later on in the race. I mean, it's not a comfortable experience racing the motorcycle in the hot conditions, let me tell you that, in these thick levers with your helmet on, with your gloves on. And there is Tristan Finocchiaro, the previous FAB-Racing commentator. Hopefully he's got a phone somewhere near him to listen in. He's sorting out his bike, maybe trying to get his biting point for his clutch so he doesn't stall it on the line, as seen in the Pit Bike 140 race 2. But yeah, Tristan will be hoping for a slightly better race as we see the AC40 Pros coming out onto the track. This has been a great race all weekend with these AC40 Pros. It's a pretty healthy sized grid with great racing all the way from first to the back of the grid. I mean, and it's so close in times. These riders will want to be able to go to Ella Park with confidence, knowing the fact that they won the final race here at Llandow. Having that confidence will help you train better. It'll give you the positive mindset going into Ella Park that you really need as a rider. But on pole position is going to be Sam Gardner as we wait to get away with the final warm-up lap for them for this weekend. Sam Gardner on pole position, as I said, with Matthew Thomas in second. Byron Johnson will be starting in third with Lewis Hull in fourth. Liam Lindquist will be starting in fifth with Jensen Bishop in sixth. Corey Gleeson in seventh with Ollie O'Gorman in eighth. Oliver Hall will be starting in ninth. As I previously said earlier, he was testing Mini GP 50 yesterday and potentially might be moving up in that towards the end of the season or next year. Bethany Ashby starting in 10th with Dylan Tureen starting in 11th. Zach Penagar will be starting in 12th with Callum Maxwell in 13th. Chloe Sewell will be 14th, and rounding off the grid for this weekend will be George Ackerman. So as we wait for the riders just to come to their starting grid under starters orders, they are starting to build right now. That is Chloe Sewell, I believe, that is stopped at the side of the track before the race. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Before the race has even started, a race could be over. That is a race over. The bike is getting put to the other side of the fence, out of danger, out of harm's way, so we can get on with this race and not have a delay. But Chloe Sewell will be so disappointed in that, having her weekend finish like that. But everyone else is lined up on the grid, waiting now. What is going to happen? Let us know down below. If you're just joining us, this is the AC40 Pros. The race is just about to start. You've joined us at the perfect time. We're waiting on the grid for confirmation from the back of the grid, from the paramedic back there, that we can start the race. The thumbs up, pointing the lights at the front. We now wait. The riders now look up at the red lights, wait for them to go on. Then they're going to go full throttle to the first corner. Lights are off now, and we go racing here for the final race of the AC40. Sam Gardner leads the way out of the box with Byron Johnson up into second place, but he is not going to sit in second place. He is trying to get to the lead straight away. It looks like it was a great start there as well from Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas getting into third position in this first lap. You see Bishop on your picture there. It's been a pretty good start. Ollie Gorman on your screen right now. Casey O'Gorman's brother is hoping for a great result to finish off his weekend, as are all the riders. Sam Gardner still leads the way though, and he'll be hoping to keep up his pace and try and pass the bike in front of him, which is Byron Johnson. Byron Johnson though has had a great weekend so far. So Byron Johnson leads the way on this first lap of race, heading down to the hairpin. Sam Gardner is hoping for a great result today. Sam Gardner, as they all go across the line, there's nothing separating them. 51 thousandths of a second. Sam Gardner's back in the lead though. Sam Gardner is pushing as hard as he can, but Byron Johnson is saying, no, I'm not going to let you go past me. I am going to try and show a front wheel and get back in front of you. Sam Gardner leads the way still. Sam Gardner's trying to go round the outside of Byron Johnson. Byron Johnson goes for the technical twisties as he comes out, trying to tuck in as much as possible. Sam Gardner is trying to get in front straight away though. Sam Gardner does not want to let Byron Johnson get into a rhythm, because if he did, he is off. Byron Johnson is so confident with his motorcycle, but Sam Gardner is going to try and tuck in as much as he can on the back straight, get into the slipstream and hopefully make a move in this final corner, heading down the Spitfire straight. Byron Johnson still leads, taking a far more defensive line than Sam Gardner here. Sam Gardner is trying to follow Byron Johnson, but how will it look coming across the line? Byron Johnson is the fastest lap of the race with 54.8, 3/10 of a second gap now from Sam Gardner. It's only 6 laps to go now. Sam Gardner, on the other hand, is trying his absolute damn hardest. This is the final race of the weekend for him. Of course, Byron Johnson we will see later on in the LC40 Elites racing still on this air-cooled bike, because these air-cooled bikes are so fast, and although they are air-cooled, they are still capable of speeds up to 52 miles per hour, which is so much power for these 7 to 13 year olds. But Byron Johnson still leads the way from Sam Gardner, heading down the Spitfire straight, full open throttle as hard as they can, tuck in as much as they can. Look how aerodynamic Sam Gardner is. He's tried absolutely everything. He is taking a far more wider line, trying to carry far more corner speed than Byron Johnson, but it's not working. Byron Johnson is putting his body and his bike in all the right places, so then Sam Gardner cannot get a peek through. Sam Gardner is trying as hard as he can, but Sam Gardner, that last lap's the fastest lap of the race with a 54.6. Sam Gardner is trying as much as he can. He has only a 2/10 of a second gap with 5 laps to go in this race. Byron Johnson is trying as hard as he can.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Byron Johnson having a really, really good race. Obviously, being closed in by Sam Gardner here. These two riders are looking absolutely incredible here. Only about 2.5 tenths separate these two riders on the Spitfire straight, and I don't think it's going to be enough. But Byron Johnson does go defensive there, which is a very interesting call. But Sam Gardner then is going over the line practically with it. They're almost side by side. 3/10 separate these two riders, which is absolutely incredible. Matthew Thomas in the third position with 4.2 seconds to the back of Sam Gardner, which is great to see. These are fantastic little races. You know, they are absolutely fantastic, because we can see Matthew Thomas there, who is currently in third position, trying to gain some sort of an advantage to Sam Gardner and the two kind of main protagonists of this race. Obviously, this being the last race of this round, these riders really want to prove what they are made of and what they have. So yeah, these two riders coming down the Spitfire straight again, still about the same distance. And and Byron Johnson opting again to use the inside so that Sam Gardner can't make any late dive bombs, as that's Matthew Thomas. They're being chased by Lewis Hull, who has Oliver Hall behind him. Yeah, it's a very, very confusing two names to be put together on the commentary, but you can see these riders coming through this very technical part of the track. It's a left, right there, and a left again. It's a very high speed section of the track there, especially going around the corners as well. I bet the riders do feel it there as we now see these riders coming through here as we see the 128. So yeah, this is the battle for the final podium spot, which is going to be very, very, very interesting to see. So Byron Johnson on that last lap setting the fastest lap of a 54.280, which is a very, very quick lap indeed, as we see the two leaders who are coming through. Now this is a battle for third place, so we can see now here we go, the battle for first place. They have closed up quite a lot, something that Sam Gardner has done this up as wow. That was a very, very near then. That was wow, that was I bet that was a Cole Brown moment for Sam Gardner there.
Sam Gardner is still trying. Byron Johnson, though, had a massive moment there coming out of the chicane. His bike, I don't actually know what happened. I think his foot might have touched the ground slightly. It just unsettled him, and it settled the bike completely there. He was lucky to stay on. But the real question is, will this affect Byron Johnson? Because right now it doesn't look like it will. Byron Johnson is trying as hard as he can to keep Sam Gardner behind him, but Sam Gardner is still tucked in. Sam Gardner looks far more efficient aerodynamically, but Byron Johnson is playing this so smart. He's going so defensive into his final corner. He knows that Sam Gardner may make a move here, but Sam Gardner is looking everywhere. This is the last lap of the race. Sam Gardner is going to try absolutely everywhere for a pass. He's going to push as hard as he can, crack open the throttle as hard as he can, be as aerodynamic, put it all on the line for this last lap of the last race of this weekend. They know that this is for the win. They know that all the pressure is on Byron Johnson right now. Sam Gardner has no pressure. He has absolutely nobody behind him but the person in front of him. All he has is the person in front of him, and he can push as hard as he can. Byron Johnson is as tucked in as possible, going for his final chicane. Sam Gardner is going to try and find some way past, but can he do it? As we go down the final straight, can Sam Gardner make a move to try and win this race? Byron Johnson still leads the way, but will Sam Gardner find the way past, heading to his final corner? It does not look like he will. Byron Johnson wins the AC40 Pro Race 3 with Sam Gardner in second place, just 0.3 of a second separating the two riders as we wait for Matthew Thomas to come around to take third place. Matthew Thomas then comes around and takes third place, closely followed by Lewis Hull and Oliver Hall. But there's your top three: Byron Johnson, Sam Gardner and Matthew Thomas. They will all be absolutely delighted with that result. It was a great race, all race, and it was very, very smart, really played by Byron Johnson, who is your race winner, as I said, by 0.3 of a second, with a best lap of 54.2. Sam Gardner taking second place, Matthew Thomas in third, Lewis Hull in fourth, Oliver Hall in fifth, Chloe Gleeson in sixth, Jensen Bishop in seventh, Dylan Tureen in eighth, Callum Maxwell in ninth, and Ollie O'Gorman rounding out the top 10. Great result there from Ollie O'Gorman as well. Quick mention to him, of course, brother of Casey O'Gorman, which hopefully Casey's getting on good today here in Estoril. Hopefully he should be back towards the end of the season and we can see him race, because he is such a good rider to watch. Yeah, absolutely agree there, absolutely agree. Yeah, fantastic race there, dominance and a really good ride by Byron Johnson there. He's really kind of coming into his own there, not making mistakes. Sam Gardner putting on a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure that a rider has to eat up there. But yeah, so it's fantastic. So let's go to the next race as we see these riders. There we go. Lovely little fist bump there between riders, which is lovely to see these bikes in the paddock. So the next race that we have, as you can see, one just going across shot there. We have the PB 140s, the final race for the Pit Bike 140s, and once again this is the championship with 32 riders. So
I will have to do the grid practically as they start coming out, because we have that many riders to get through for this championship. So just waiting for the final few of the mini motors to go into the pit lane. And there's a lot of interest in Tristan Finocchiaro, who's obviously one of the commentators for FAB-Racing. Obviously, the last race didn't go too well. I think he just stalled a little bit. I think maybe he got a little bit distracted. But yeah, he's back on the grid in 14th place. So maybe and hopefully he can have a better race than he did last time. Well, I say that he went right to the back at the end of lap 1. He was the last. He was the last bike. Obviously because he stalled, and manages to get back up to P14. So let's hope he doesn't stall again, and let's hope he can make some really good progress in the race like he did last time. So obviously the two front riders there, Rossi Banham and Reese Peacock. This is the loudest class, and me and Luce can certainly feel it in the commentary booth here as they are about to go for their warm-up lap. There we go. A fantastic sound from these 4-stroke motors. Really incredible. The two or three to watch, I would say, would be obviously Rossi Banham. Well, as I say, all of them, maybe the top 6 even. We've got Rossi Banham, who's starting in pole position. Reese Peacock in P2. Taylor Lawrence in P3. Chris Wells in P4. Darren Anderson in P5, and Lucas Brown in P6, Nathan Riggy in P7, Charlie Nesbitt in P8, Cameron Saul in P9 in the 200, Jim King in P10, Sean Whittaker P11, Marken Pandolfo is in P12, Jake Archer in P13, Tristan Finocchiaro, who is obviously, as I said, the commentator for FAB-Racing, in P14, Max Perry in P15, Zach Turin in P16, Adam Redding in P17, Giorgio Scalata in P18, Thomas Dudson in 19th, Chadley Whiting in P20, Dominic Gardner in P21, Andrew Graham in P22, Roger Monks in P23, Ben O'Keefe in position 24, Keita Payne 25th, Aston Dean 26th, Ollie Walker 27th, Dave Glover 28th, Powell Nosel in P29, Lewis Wilde in P30, and Harrison O'Keefe in 31st, with Fraser Rogers in 32nd place. Another absolutely packed grid for what is the biggest grid of this weekend, and we are about to go lights out and away we go for the final race of the weekend. We're just getting a lovely little thumbs up there and a wave from Rossi Banham, which we absolutely love to see. So this is going to be very interesting. Waiting until we get a thumbs up. There we go. So the lights are going to go on any second now, and it's lights on and it's lights out, and away we go. Rossi Banham gets a fantastic start. Wow, that was number 4. Chris Wells trying to get on the inside, going into second, and there is someone come off, I think, on the start line. Not too sure what's happened there, as we see Rossi Banham obviously a very commanding lead so far. Chris Wells trying to go for second place, but just gets squeezed out by Taylor Lawrence and Reese Peacock, and he must stay P4. Yeah, a really good start there. Obviously, Reese Peacock in second, Chris Wells up to third, I think. So he managed to overtake Taylor Lawrence going over the line, which is very interesting. All the cars, all the bikes going 2 by 2. As we see Rossi Banham having a great little scrap with Reese Peacock. Because we remember for the last round, this was an incredible race to watch. This was another one that I believe was decided on the last lap as well. As we see a mount to the inside from Reese Peacock. He sends it to the inside, but Rossi Banham just manages to keep ahead there. Absolutely incredible. So Rossi Banham leads from Taylor Lawrence, who has the fastest lap on that lap. Reese Peacock down into third position. Lucas Brown into P4, Chris Wells down into P5. Nathan Riggy in position 6. Cameron Saul in P7. Rossi Banham under attack from Taylor Lawrence once again, as we see Sean Whittaker in P8, Marco Pandolfo in P9, and Zach Turin in P10. Tristan in 15 as well. So Rossi Banham really heavily under attack now from Taylor Lawrence. This is a really great defence. Let's see if Lawrence can get a better run onto the Spitfire straight. Rossi Banham is defending. Oh no, I think that's Yes, is that about Marco already? I think it might be, or is that Peacock? No, that's Taylor Lawrence. Taylor Lawrence actually took the lead briefly there. Fantastic. Taylor Lawrence is in the lead. Not too sure where that happened. That's absolutely fantastic. Rossi Banham into Reece Peacock just behind them, as we see the gap for the top 5 are covered by only just over a fifth of a second, and this is a thing. I think that's Rossi Banham that took the lead away from Taylor Lawrence. Absolutely fantastic as we're looking at Reece Peacock in third place. Yeah, Rossi Banham has retaken the lead away from Taylor Lawrence. Absolutely fantastic to see. Very, very, very great riding there, as we see maybe Taylor Lawrence can get back ahead of Rossi Banham coming down into the Spitfire straight into the final corner. We see Rossi Banham going very defensive there, a leg on the ground, turns it in. Very nice, very, very, very nice indeed. So Rossi Banham retakes the lead of the race with the fastest lap of a 50.180, which is a very, very good lap. Lap record here is 49.228 seconds, which was actually done by Rossi Banham in the last race. The previous lap record was by Rossi, was a 49.229, so 1,000th of a second faster than the previous lap record. Yeah, absolutely fantastic riding here from Rossi Banham. But I say that, and Taylor Lawrence is right on his rear again. It looks like Rossi might have had a bit of a moment there. I'm not too sure, but Taylor Lawrence is right on his back. These two drivers are so committed. They really are committed. Let's see if Taylor Lawrence can go down the inside. I think he might try and send it. I think he just backs out last minute. Yes, he does. Rossi Banham in the lead of this race.
Yeah, Rossi Banham just six laps to go. Rossi Banham leads the way. Taylor Lawrence is just behind. Taylor Lawrence and Rossi Banham race so hard but so fair. They have completed that or trusted each other's racing abilities, as we see Taylor Lawrence looking up the inside and a small amount of blue smoke actually coming out of Rossi Banham's bike. Speaking to him at Lid at the previous run, he did say his bike was not in the best conditions mechanically, but it is working enough to lead the race right now. Of Taylor Lawrence looking at the rear end of that bike, wanting to never see it again and wanting just to get in front and then clear off. But this is the Pit Bike 140 race. That does not happen. Taylor Lawrence looks up the inside. Taylor Lawrence goes for a dive, but he has to back out at last minute there from Rossi Bannerman as they go on just to have 5 laps to go in this race. Nothing separating them. 1/10 of a second. Taylor Lawrence gets the fastest lap with a 49.962. That is an amazing lap. A couple tenths off the lap record that was just set in the previous race. Track conditions are up, spirits are up. They are both loving this right now. Look at their extreme riding styles on such a small bikes with such small tyres. That is so low. And there's that puff of smoke again coming out of Rossi Banham's bike. But this is not affecting Rossi Banham as he's still in front. Taylor Lawrence and him are out of this. Well, Taylor Lawrence is down. Taylor Lawrence goes down just at the entrance to Spitfire Straight. He's trying to pick up his bike and get restarted, as you can't do it, Fab. But it's a kickstart. Will it start? It's not starting. He's trying as hard as he can. He's doing all of his anger from crashing. I think he may have got it started, has he? I don't know, but Rossi Banham is now up front by himself. No, he's not got it started. What a disaster there from Taylor Lawrence.
Yeah, absolutely heartbreak there for Lawrence, who's doing such a good ride there. He was putting so much pressure on Rossi Banham, and unfortunately pushed a little bit too hard and made that mistake there. So Rossi Banham just lapping a few back markers there, has the fastest lap. Again, 49.86 is still 6/10 away from the lap that he did in the previous race. But that should be Rossi Banham. That should be Rossi Banham 2 seconds now to the back of Reece Peacock. Lucas Brown in the number 7 machine is now up there, as we see from board with Tristan. As we see him, Lucas Brown has actually overtaken Reece Peacock going over the line. So that is Lucas Brown in second place. Very, very good. Reece Peacock has got an issue. Reece Peacock has got an issue. He's dropping down the order as well. So not too sure what's happening to this. It seems to be the second place curse. Anyone in second place seems to be dropping down the order. So let's have a look what happened there, not too sure, but Lucas Brown is in second. Charlie Nesbitt up to P3, which is absolutely fantastic. Cameron Saul only 3 tenths behind Charlie Nesbitt, so let's see if we can get another rider on the podium this weekend. Rossi Banham doing a fantastic job here, 2.7 seconds clear as we have three laps to go. Or when Rossi gets to the line, it will be 2 laps, just like that. So 2 laps to go. So the next time round will be the final lap. Rossi Banham has got an absolutely fantastic lead so far. 4 seconds is the gap from Banham to Brown. Charlie Nesbitt in P3. Reece Peacock up to P4. Cameron Saul drops down to P5. All the other drivers staying okay in position. Rossi Banham. So P1, P2 is Lucas Brown. P3 is Nesbitt. P4, Reece Peacock. P5, Cameron Saul. 6 is Jake Archer. 7th is Nathan Riggy. 8th is Sean Whittaker. 9 is Marco Pandolfo. And 10th, up to 10th, is Tristan, which is absolutely fantastic. So he's gained quite a few positions from where he started. You see Rossi Banham coming around the final corner to start his last lap of the weekend for the PB 140 Championship. Rossi Banham has driven an absolutely fantastic and perfect weekend from himself. He's been so quick, not just in this but in the other classes as well. He's really been one to watch this weekend. Absolutely fantastic drive from him. You know, he's set the lap record. He's got the lap record. He's such a fast driver. He's just overtaking a back marker. He's coming just out of the technical part of the track, up onto the little straight, through the right-hander, through the left-hander, and through the right-hander onto the start of Spitfire Straight. As he comes down in the straight, it's going to be another amazing win for Rossi Banham, who comes round the final corner to win the 3rd race of the PB 140s this weekend as he wheelies across the line. Absolutely fantastic. Lucas Brown takes 2nd place in the number 7, and Charlie Nesbitt in P3. Reece Peacock unfortunately had that little issue as well, but Rossi Banham wins the race ahead of Lucas Brown and Charlie Nesbitt just behind. So top 10 in that race. Rossi Banham, obviously we've seen, has won. Lucas Brown in P2. Charlie Nesbitt is in P3 with Reece Peacock in P4. Then we've got Jake Archer in 5th position with Cameron Saul. We just see Tristan there. There we go. He didn't stall this time, which is lovely to see. So he managed to finish P10 with the best lap of 51.43 seconds and 21 seconds to P9, I believe. Oh no, I think that's to the leader. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic to see there. So let's do the top 10. Rossi Banham takes the win away from Lucas Brown. Charlie Nesbitt is in P3. Reece Peacock in P4. Jake Archer is in P5. P6 is Cameron Saul. P7 Nathan Riggy. P8 Sean Whittaker. P9 Marco Pandolfo, and P10 good old Tristan. Absolutely fantastic racing there, and unfortunately that will be the last time that we do see the PB 140s this weekend, but don't you worry, they will be back in a few weeks' time. So the next race, as we just see these riders making their way around, I think one of them is giving a hand, I think riding together, which is lovely to see. So yeah, absolutely holding each other up. Look at that sportsmanship there. That is you don't get that in many or any other championships. It's lovely to see. You know, it's such a lovely, as we've said many times, the atmosphere here is absolutely lovely. There we go. Oh, and he's got off now. He's gone for a little run. I think he said, no, I want to try and get a little bit fitter. I'm going to run to the pit lane instead. He's decided. So just getting a little bit better. Lovely little high five there. Go on. He can run down. Here he goes. He's going to run. Keep running. There we go. Go on. He's nearly got it. Is he going to get a high five? No, he's going to have a little conversation instead with the medical guy, I think. So yeah, absolutely sensational. He gets a little wave. Well done. That gets a round of applause for running that. That was he's run the back straight. That close to getting it, he says, which is brilliant to see there. But yeah, still happy that he's got it back to the pits and still in very good spirits, which we love to see. So the next race, which is just getting lined up, as you can see there in the background of that shot, is the Mini F1 Sidecar Championship. 6 riders, but so technically 12 because there are six riders. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a really, really good race again.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, that race there we just watched, I believe it was a great ride there from Tristan. Just one final mention, getting the 10th place, but I do believe he had some sort of issue with his clutch, just over the fact that even during that start of the race, he got an awful start. He did get it off the line this time, but he definitely did struggle. But he hasn't raced in 2 years, so it may just be lack of experience and not used to these pit bikes and just a bit rusty. But it's great to have Tristan back in the paddock. Of course, the previous FAB commentator that is now living in Barcelona. And it's great as well that he's decided to bring the weather with him, which everyone, I think, loves. But yeah, it was a great race. Charlie Nesbitt as well, showing a bit of camaraderie with Taylor Lawrence by just giving them somewhat of a pushback before leaving them just to run the rest and sweat out in these hot conditions. But it is the time for the final Mini F1 Sidecar race of the day. If you're new to sidecars, or these will look completely different from anything else you've ever watched, but if you've watched this before, it'll be no surprise to say Mick Williams will be starting on pole position. But Jason Greenstreet will be lining up next to him in second place. Mark Parker will be in third, with John Keats in fourth. Chris Impey in fifth, with Iona Glover rounding out the grid in sixth. Not a massive grid that we have here for the sidecars, but it's something that is completely different for the calendar and for the classes. It's something that you don't get anything else. But are you tuned in? Let us know down below. Would you have a go on one of these sidecars? Because previous commentators of FAB have had a go in these sidecars and it's not really went well. They were actually mortified at how scary even the mini sidecars are. For example, Tristan, as we just seen, I've been told stories and I interviewed him yesterday, and even he admitted that he was not a good passenger. He was struggled with it quite a lot, and it's completely different from riding just a normal motorcycle as the riders come down past the Spitfire straight to head through their warm-up lap to then make it to the grid. On the right, we still have plenty of people peering through the gates, in their cars, on top of their cars, on the fence, leaning on their cars. Every type of form you could think they're watching this race in, and it's great to see. I mean, it's great to see so much support for FAB here in Wales as the riders just take their final positions for this race. Tensions are starting to rise on the grid now. There one final checks, one final close of the visor, one final race of the weekend. Will McWilliams be able to make it into 3 race wins out of 3 as we wait for the lights to go on? The lights are on, the lights are off, and we are racing here for the final Mini F1 sidecar race. Mick Williams leads off the line, but it looks like John Keats has got into second place over Greenstreet. There was a close moment there. Greenstreet is now in second place, overtaking Chris Impey. Will this affect Chris Impey's confidence? Chris Impey is a great rider, but John Keats, as we've seen, had a massive moment there. John Keats is known for getting the sidecars nice and squirrely. They're not afraid for it to move off the ground slightly. As we all know, how you turn a sidecar is by shifting your body weight. You can see it there. The bike is shaking. The bike is vibrating. It's lifting off the ground. It's retaliating. It's saying no. But that is not affecting John Keats. They're pushing on with this race on the 666 bike, going down the back straight to try and take third place back after that moment as the race leaders head through the hairpin. As we head round to complete the first lap of this race, McWilliams leads with 59.1 off the line, a 1.7 second gap over Greenstreet already. But this race is not over yet. This is racing. Anything can happen. There's 5 laps left. John Keats is trying their absolute darnest to try and catch up to the Green Streets.
Yeah, absolutely. Mick Williams with a fantastic start there. Obviously leading the race as per usual, but Jason Greenstreet not letting them go easily. There you go. You can see both of them on there. Look at that. Look at the helmet. I love this championship because you can just see just how close the rider or the passenger gets. Like, look at that. He gets his head so close. Look at that. They're not. He's holding onto a metal bar and throwing his helmet over to the apex, but he's actually quite close to Mick Williams. Actually, maybe Jason Greenstreet can maybe mount some sort of attack on Mick Williams, which will be very, very interesting indeed. I still look at that. That is absolutely brilliant. His head is maybe 2 or 3 inches from the apex. Fantastic. So Mick Williams is in first place with Jason Greenstreet in second. 666 bike of John Keats just goes off the line. There you go. He's in P3 with Mark Parker in the 230. There you go. You can see them on the screen. In P4, Chris Impey in P5 just goes over the line now. Is in P5, and then Iona Glover is in P6. So we've got 3 battles on track. We've got Mick Williams, Jason Greenstreet. We've got John Keats and Mark Parker, which is the closest one on track. And then you've got Chris Impey and Iona Glover together. So it's a very, very interesting. We've got 3 battles on track. So at least we've got a range of a variety of different battles to see on track. Obviously, Mick Williams, an incredibly successful driver. I think that's putting it lightly in this category, which is very interesting as we're seeing John Keats navigate this way through. But Mark Parker is actually very, very close to the back of him. So are we going to see maybe some action coming down the Spitfire straight? John Keats goes defensive. Can Mark Parker maybe get a little bit more speed maybe next lap, maybe try and carry some more speed through the corners? It'll be very, very interesting to see if they can do that as they go over the start finish line. It'll be very, very interesting to see this as a 66. Wow, his bottom is on the apex of the track there, literally. That's incredible to see. Mark Parker obviously is battling with John Keats at the moment. John Keats taking a good line through there. Mark Parker taking a little bit more of a tighter apex, and they're right bumper to bumper right now. I think Mark Parker had to slam on the brakes a bit more there, hence why he's dropped back a little bit from there. But yeah, these two are looking like they're going to produce a very, very good battle for us with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, only 3 laps to go. Mick Williams is still in the demanding lead, but it's not over. The podium position is not settled, as you just said, Alex. John Keats is under so much pressure right now of Mark Parker as we head down the Spitfire straight. They're all trying to tuck in as much as possible in these many F1 sidecars because they're so small and there's 2 adults riding them. It is so difficult to be able to get tucked in. Believe me, they're pushing as hard as they can. Look how close the helmet gets to the ground there. They're putting absolutely everything. They're using all their body weight. You can see the rear wheel. It's starting to lift off the ground slightly there as the passenger tries to get a turn. It is amazing to see Mick Williams right now, though, has a 5.8 second lead. But we were focusing right on Keats because Keats is in a battle right now of Mark Parker, because both on red bikes, but Mark Parker wants to get in this podium position. It would be a great way to round off the weekend because this is the final race of the weekend for these riders. They are giving it absolutely everything around this Llandow circuit here in sunny South Wales as we head round the chicane with them. But as we see at the top of our screen, there's just 1 lap to go for Mick Williams, and there will only be 1 lap to go for John Keats and Mark Parker as they come across the line this time. Mark Parker is gonna have to find something magical to be able to catch up to John Keats here. But here we have it, Mick Williams on your screen on the last lap, 7.3 second lead. The previous year's champion, the champion before that, and that. The list goes on. They are so successful in mini F1 sidecar racing here at FAB, but they keep coming back. They keep showing their talent as there's been a crash. I do not know who that is, but we wait and see if they are okay. But as we wait and see with Mick Williams, as the red flag is out, that will mean Mick Williams will take the victory for this race. Greenstreet should get second, and John Keats will get third as we see the medical cart heading out onto the circuit with great speed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the medical car getting to the scene as soon as possible, but I think they might have already gone there. As we've seen a VW Passat now on screen as well. So we're seeing a multitude of cars on here now. So again, we've got all the sidecars on track as well, with an Audi and a VW. Something I never thought I would say commentating this series, but yes, it's a very, very interesting race. Another fantastic win for Mick Williams. You know, he's become like the Valentino Rossi or the Lewis Hamilton of sidecars. I think he's just winning absolutely everything. So yeah, fantastic for him. Obviously, Jason Greenstreet as well in second position, and John Keats bringing up the podium in third place as well in that 666 machine. Fantastic. So that was the final action of these sidecars. I'm very sad to say, because you know, we do love that. We do love that championship, but here is another championship to get very, very excited about. We have the LC40 Elite Championship next. So this is the mini bikes. Which is but yeah, it was a really great race to watch that. You know, to see Mick Williams win again, and obviously there we go. Just seeing them two come back in the paddock, which is lovely to see. As the 666 of John Keats comes into the pit lane as well. So, Lewis, that was a really, really interesting race. You know, another dominant performance from Mick Williams, which I think we just say every race now. But yeah, there was also really good battle between John Keats and Mark Parker too, right?
Yeah, certainly, and we can see Mick Williams without the helmet on right now, which is such a rare sight, as he is trying to hide from our cameras while talking to Greenstreet, who got second. But that is Mick Williams on your screen right now. It is a rare shot to see him without his helmet. He's quite a hard man to find in the paddock, but it is great that he keeps coming back and just keeps racing and showing off what he can do, and it's keeping the mini F1 sidecars healthy and alive, because we all know that they're capable of great things due to this man, which he's already getting out of his levers now. He's might even go for a pint after this. You know, he can go home now, or he can just stay, enjoy the racing and enjoy the sun, as we all are here today. Iona Glover there also on your screen. And Greenstreet all having a conversation, discussing about that race, having a laugh about that race, you know, saying how great it was, talking about maybe close moments. You know, it's been a great race for them all, really. I'm sure everyone has learned everything. Well, everyone's learned at least something in that race, and have enjoyed it and enjoyed the sunshine. I'm sure they are all hot and sweaty right now, just because it is so hot here in Llandow. I mean, I think it's 18 degrees right now, which, coming from sunny Scotland, it's very, very rare to be this hot.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is a fantastic. It's a lovely day. And you know what? I can't blame them for getting out of the leathers, to be honest, because as you say, it's very, very, very warm today. And you know, that's not a sentence I thought I would be saying. A very warm Wales and a sunny Wales. But yeah, it's especially on Friday as well, because it did start raining on Friday. So it's lovely that we have this really, really nice weather, and it's lovely to see. There's a very nice cool breeze running through the air, especially through the comms office as well. So it's keeping us nice and refreshed. And yes, there's Mick Williams as he contemplates, or should I go for a pint now, or should I go in about 10 minutes? He's not sure, but I'm sure he'll be down the pub celebrating his many wins. And those were the riders, and those were the riders that were involved in that incident. So it's lovely to see that they are in the paddock, and they are congratulating Mick Williams and the rest of the riders that were ahead of them. So I believe we are waiting for the LC40 Elite class in the paddock, just waiting for a few of them to get up. All the riders look like they are trying to get ready and try and psych themselves up for this race. You know, we have 11 riders in this next championship. So yeah, it's looking like a very interesting thing. So we've got we can see a lot of people trying to look at something in the paddock or below. So Not sure. So, let's have a look and see what there is. There we go. So that is the rather battered and bruised 230 car of Mark Parker that everybody is standing around and having a look at. It does look, it looks a little damaged there, but it's nothing that the very talented men and women here can't fix. So I'm sure that'll be out for next round, which is lovely to see. As we see the medical car reversing back in, and lovely to see the very, very helpful marshals sweeping away the bits of sand and dirt on the track. So it's lovely to see that as this gentleman is very happy that he's just walking up. There we go. He's got someone else there is helping, who's handing him a bucket of something. So there you go. You take the heavy thing, I'll take the brush. It's easy for me. So as we just wait for the next championship, these two marshals walk off track. There we go, jumping over the tyre barriers, almost trips there, but yeah, as we see, here we go. I think we are almost ready. We can see them all. There's about 5 or 6 of these riders there, just so eager to get out on track, which is absolutely lovely to see. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting championship. As I said, it's the Minimoto LC40 Elite British Championship, powered by 2-stroke air or water-cooled 40cc's or 4-stroke air or oil-cooled 90cc engines. The ages of these riders range from anywhere between 7 years old and 13 years old. And unlike the Minimoto AC40 and AC40 Pro and Rookie Championships, obviously the Rookie Championship has a 10mm exhaust restrictor and the Pros have 14mm exhaust restrictor. These don't have any exhaust restrictors, which means they are capable of 56 miles an hour, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Obviously, the rookie class, the AC40s, has 45, AC40 Pros has 52, and this has 56. So 4 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour quicker than the Pro Championship. But there are some very, very talented riders in here. Obviously, we have the Johnson brothers in there. But yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. I'm sure that phrase is definitely true if you are in the paddock, because it is absolutely roasting in here. So thank you very much for sticking with us and watching us. Who are you supporting? Who are you supporting? Are you in the paddock? Are you listening on YouTube? And there's good old Roger, the big boss man around this paddock, which we love. We wouldn't be able to go with keep going strong. He's going for his walk, which is absolutely lovely. Giving saying, oh, yep, sorry, didn't mean to see that there. As obviously, yeah, as he walked round to the paddock, as we wait for the LC40 Elites to do their warm-up lap, as we are just waiting for a few riders. There we go, and until we get a bit of a red flag, there is someone getting quite impatient on the grid, revving their engine. As we can see, I think it's one of the Johnson brothers. Yes, it's Byron Johnson, who is just revving his engine. As we can see the blue smoke coming out of the back. So yeah, Lewis, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Johnson brothers?
Yeah, the Johnson brothers are two very, very successful brothers. Byron Johnson will be racing that air-cooled bike in this LC40 Elite class, which of course can run both air-cooled and liquid-cooled bikes. Byron Johnson got some great results last round that led on that air-cooled bike. I believe he got a podium and potentially a win.
Yeah, fantastic. And if he can even convert that into a win, he might even get a little bit thunderstruck, which would be absolutely fantastic if he can. And maybe if he wants to go a bit of a different livery to his brother Austin Johnson, he can maybe go back to the original black livery as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here all weekend. We're just waiting for the drivers riders to come back to join the grid. As we say, 11 riders as we see a lovely family there waiting outside the track, as there is a Skoda there and a very, very nice classic car there. Oh, we do like that indeed, as we get a lovely pan to the riders here for the LC40 Elite Championship. We have the ACDB brothers, we call it, because obviously AC/DC, bit copyrighted. So Austin Johnson is on pole position. Finley Polhill in P2. Matthew Thomas P3. Sam Gardner P4. Byron Johnson P5. Liam Lindquist P6. Bishop P7. Gleason P8. Oliver Hall P9. Torin in P10. And Maxwell in P11. Now just waiting for the final riders to get in position. There we go. We're waiting for the thumbs up, and we're waiting for the point to the lights, which indicates to us and the drivers that it is ready to go for the final round of the LC40 Elite Championship. There we go. The finger is up. 2 points to the lights. Let's go for the final round of this fantastic championship. The lights are on and the lights out, and away we go. A very good start indeed for Finley Polhill, who takes the lead away from Austin Johnson. Very good indeed. I believe that is it. Yeah. The two Johnson brothers are together. I think maybe Sam Gardner maybe got a little bit of a bad start. I'm not too sure. But as we see, Finley Polhill leading the pack away, leading the pack, which is absolutely lovely to see. The Johnson brothers together. There we go. A really good start there from Finley Polhill. Austin Johnson just trailing behind there, as you can see, but he's hot on the heels of Polhill. Johnson will be going, excuse me, you just took that away from me. I want to get back in that position. And he says that as he goes side by side down into the final corner. Is he going to come out in the lead? Yes, he is. But is Polhill going to get a better exit? I think he might. Let's have a look. No, he doesn't. Johnson is back into the lead of this race. Fantastic. Austin Johnson leads Finley Polhill from Byron Johnson. The Johnson brothers on the podium at the moment. Sam Gardner, Matthew Thomas had a little bit of a poor start there, down in 4th and 5th respectively. Torin in P6, Jensen Bishop in P7, Oliver Hall in P8, Chloe Gleason in P9, and Callum Maxwell in P10.
Yes, exactly what we expect to see. Austin Johnson making a great start off the line in his liquid cooled bike, but Finley Polhill is not going to let this go easily. You can see how aggressive he is being through the chicane. He's throwing the bike about. He's trying to catch back up, but Byron Johnson's there, and he can pick up the pieces if anything goes pear-shaped with Austin and Finley. But it's still only, we're about to go 6 laps to go in this race. Austin Johnson still leads and gets the fastest lap of the race with 53.1. He's just 4/10 ahead of Finley Polhill, which will want to make that gap a lot smaller going on this lap. Finley Polhill has tried as hard as he can as they go around this section of the track where it's a hairpin into another hairpin. Then they try to use almost all the track, then some riders prefer just to go out almost to the curb there as the track opens up, and then it widens out as they head through here into the chicane. After the chicane, you will then get faced with another right-hander, which then leads onto the back straight. This exit is absolutely crucial. If you can carry your momentum all the way from the start of that chicane through this straight, you can potentially make a dive bomb into this final corner. It's so inviting, but this final corner can be quite bumpy if you're going towards the inside of it, so you have to watch out, and you want to get a good drive, so you cannot take it too tight. But it's still Austin Johnson that leads the way with another fastest lap that time round with a 53.1. But Finley Polhill also has a 53.1. There's nothing separating the two riders. There's 5 laps to go. Finley Polhill is looking for a way past. He's looking for any kind of way.
Yeah, I've just got a message from race control. Austin Johnson has been given a 3-second penalty for a jump start. So that is not too good for him. So he's going to need to pull out something out of his back pocket of his leathers to try and still win this race. But at the moment, it is Finley Polhill provisionally in the lead of the race, which is very interesting indeed. But let's have a look at these riders here going side by side. A very brave move there, but unfortunately didn't work out as we go down on to the back straight. Very nice. Here we go. So this is Jensen Bishop that we are watching here, who is under attack from Dylan Torin. There we go. Across the line they go. A very decent little battle here. This is shaping up to be as they come through this big long sweeping left-hander into this right-hander, going on to a little straight, and now into the very technical section that we call the fast sweeping technical section of this circuit.
Yeah, it certainly has been. This circuit, as we said earlier, has a bit of everything. You need to get the bike working for you around here. You need to have faith in your bike. If you don't, you're not going to get a good lap time, frankly. I mean, it matters so much around the circuit. It's so tight and twisty as well. It's not one of these wide, open, flowing tracks where if you make a mistake, it's not going to affect you, because this chicane which you've seen, if you get that wrong, it shores you up all the way until the start-finish line, pretty much. As we see Bishop going a little bit further back from Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas trying just to escape. As we see on our screen right now, Dylan Tureen in a battle with what appears to be Chloe Gleeson. Finlay Tureen now getting pushed back even further with Callum Maxwell also in the hunt for a position up the top. There's battles going on from first to last. It's just a great racing that's in this class, all the way from first to last. There's multiple battles for every single position, because every single position matters in terms of championship points.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as I said, that's two to go. So the next time that Austin Johnson, Finlay Polhill go over the line, that will be the last lap. Now remember, Austin Johnson with the 3-second penalty, which means that currently Finlay Polhill is in provisional P1 at the moment. But let's have a look, because the gap to Johnson from Polhill is 8 seconds now. So depending on if Austin Johnson that is, can have a really good last few laps and maybe keep the lead, or maybe it looks like he might finish P2 in this race. But yeah, as you said, lots of battles up and down the field this weekend in practically every class. Obviously, last time we had the sidecars, we had 3 battles there, which is fantastic. And now we've got a lot more battles as well, especially between Jensen Bishop and Chloe Gleeson. Only 8 tenths separate them. But as we watch the top 2 here, which is between Austin Johnson and Finlay Polhill right here. I might mean Byron Johnson and Sam Gardner, not too sure there. Both very, very similar, very similar cars. So that is the battle for the lead of the race, which is very, very, very interesting indeed. Obviously, we are now onto the last lap of the race. So Austin Johnson, obviously, provisional lead at the moment. Finlay Polhill is technically in P1 for the moment. So Austin Johnson still a very, very good drive from him. Very dominant, no mistakes. Just unfortunate that he does get that jump start penalty, but I'm sure he'll be back at Ella, and he will be absolutely fire. It will be very, very, very fast. As we now see them coming down the start-finish straight, and it is going to be Finlay Polhill. Johnson will cross the line first, but it is going to be Polhill that takes the win away from Austin Johnson. Finlay Polhill wins the race with Austin Johnson in P2, as we see this battle for P3 between Sam Gardner and Byron Johnson. Coming into the final corner, it's going to be Byron Johnson that finishes P3. So it's going to be Finlay Polhill in P1. Then we've got Austin Johnson in P2, obviously taking the 3-second penalty, and Byron Johnson in P3. What a fantastic race, a really, really fantastic race, filled with lots of battles through there. It was a really fantastic battle, as we see some of them. I've just realised what is in our ears right now. Yes, I think Austin Johnson will be very thunderstruck with the fact that he has that penalty. Fantastic there. So here is the top 10 for that race. Austin Johnson, as I said, cross the lines first. So it's going to be Finlay Polhill that wins the race away from Austin Johnson and Byron Johnson in P3. Sam Gardner finishes P4 with Matthew Thomas in P5. Oliver Hall finishes P6, Jensen Bishop P7, Chloe Gleeson at P8, Dylan Tureen P9, and rounding out the final top 10, Callum Maxwell. Well, what a fantastic race. We have 3 races only to go for this Llandow circuit for the FAB-Racing 22 Mini Bike Championship. And now we're keeping with the mini bikes, because we are going to Senior Mini Moto. 22 riders. Again, this is the fantastic looking the adults on the mini bikes, and that is a very, very loud 2-stroke engine we can hear there, which is lovely to see. So yeah, the Senior Mini Moto British Championship, again, powered by a 2-stroke air or water-cooled 40cc or a 4-stroke air or oil-cooled 90cc engine. Ages, you have to be over 14, as we see 2 riders there just having a little chat to each other through the next to each other. The senior mini motos, which have to be over the age of 14 to race in this, and just like the elite championship, there is no exhaust restriction. So again, these are capable of 56 miles an hour. Lewis, that was a really, really, really cool race, wasn't it? Obviously, again, Austin Johnson will be quite annoyed about that, but unfortunately, that happens in racing.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, it was his mistake, but mistakes happen. You know, he'll learn from it certainly. But one thing I did notice as the senior mini motos head out is that when Finlay Polehill crossed the line, he was not happy. He slapped his tank and had his hand up in the air in disgust. He is not happy, but he didn't know that there's a 3-second time penalty and that he's actually got the win. As we see, the senior mini motos are out on track with Josh Birkins that is actually going to be starting in pole position. It's quite a confusing grid because our starting grid sheet that we have here does not match up to what's on the grid, but it'll be Josh Birkins on pole position from Will Howarth, with Matt Birkins, I believe, in 4th place and Holly Harris in 5th, with Nick Bennett, Craig Ashall in 5th, I believe, will be the top 5. But we're just going to have to wait and see until they form up on the grid to know where they're really going to form, because all races today in the seniors, they've been going in different grid positions and we don't really know why.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the same with the Extreme 200s as well. You know, a few drivers electing to start from the back, but it's really interesting to see that these drivers are starting from the back of the grid, which is very, very interesting. As we see, a few cars have gone, but a few people have arrived instead. So we've just got people standing by watching the grid. So as we see, that is the number 96 of Will Howarth starting that. I imagine he is going to want to get this race over and done as soon as possible. Fully black bike, fully black leathers, and a black and red helmet. He is not going to be very cool in that, so he's just going to try and go as fast as he can to cool off. Yes, indeed. It's unfortunate he's not called Johnson as well, because he literally is back in black. So that is the number 2 car. So that is Josh Birkin, who starts on pole as we look at the lights ready for the race start, for the final race of the senior mini motors. Red lights are on and it's red lights out, and away we go. And that is a fantastic start from Josh Birkin, Will Howarth, who crosses the line to start this. Josh Birkin in second. The 2 Birkin brothers together in second and third. Are they going to be able to make it through this race? Clearly, Holly Harris, the British Talent Cup rider, is in P4. Nick Bennett is in P5. Across the line. So a fantastic start there from Will Howarth, who's just managed to take the lead away from Josh Birkin there, which is very, very interesting to see. See all the cars, there's 2 wide there coming through that right-hander as they come through there. So yeah, but really, really interesting start. We're seeing this battle here between Will Howarth and Josh Birkin. I think Matt Birkin is going to try get on the back of this as well. Yes, he is there. So we're looking at Will Howarth coming onto the back straight. Josh Birkin isn't close enough to make a move on this particular lap, but I have no doubt that those two will be challenging and swapping positions all race.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Will Howarth straight out the gate, as we also seen in the Moto team race, he is just straight out the gate so fast. He's already got a 3/10 gap over Matt Birkins, which has a best lap of 55, which is no slouch, let me tell you that. But closely following is Holly Harris according to our timing screens. So we cannot. Josh Birkins has actually fallen down the order to 9th. So I don't know what happened to him in that first lap, but Will Howarth still leads the way, with Matt Birkins setting the fastest lap of the race with a 55.1 as he heads round this final section of the track before they go in the back straight. Getting tucked in for these riders is so difficult. Look at this. There's massive riders on small bikes. It's so hard to get fully tucked in. Somewhat aerodynamic, but Will Howarth has clearly found the way that works, because he's in the lead of the race, although Matt Birkins is still there. Matt Birkins is there, so if Will Howarth makes any kind of mistake, he's close enough that he can make a pass. But Josh Birkins did have an issue that first lap. He's back up to 8th now, so that is not what he will be wanting.
No, absolutely not. But he is already making ground as well. And Holly Harris, as we said, the British Talent Cup rider, is up into third place because of Josh Perkins' incident or whatever. Maybe he just ran wide. As we see Holly Harris there on screen, giving her absolute everything. She is on target for a podium for this race, which would mean so much to her, and would certainly, be really good for her. And obviously, then she can have another trophy to show off, especially in the British Talent Cup. So Will Howarth currently leads. As we can see, everyone coming down the Spitfire Straight there, our favourite part of the track this weekend. Will Howarth now crosses the line to have just under a second lead from Matt Birkin. Holly Harris then crosses the line with Nick Bennett in P4. Chris Yeomans crosses the line P5 and 6. And 6 is Craig Ashall. Josh Birkin already up to P7, and Rhys Gentry down to P8. Mark Payne is P9, and just as I say that, Callum White crosses the line in P10. Yeah, a really good battle so far between Will Howarth and Matt Birkin. Obviously, they keep pushing each other. No matter the race, whatever. And obviously, this is the race that everyone really wants to win because it's the final race of the weekend. This is the one you remember when you leave the track. Maybe not race 1 and race 2. You remember the final race. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Will Howarth can do. The track. Oh, that is an instant off track. That is the number 51, I believe, or 71. Not sure. Oh no, that is the 81 of Craig Ashall, who was down in P6. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. And as we're looking at these two, Jose going side by side over the start-finish line. That is Josh Birkin going past Craig Ashall. Yes, a very, very interesting couple of corners here as we see these riders going 3 by 3. Oh, they are going 3 wide as well. Wow, that is certainly very, very brave on these mini bikes, which is very, very interesting to see as we're looking at Holly Harris there going through that right-hander onto a thing as we see these 3 separated by, I don't even know, by about half a second between all 3 of them. A really, really fantastic effort here as they're going to come through to the right-hander, then the left-hander, and then the right-hander onto the back of the Spitfire Straight. Can one of them make a move on the back of another one? Let's have a look. So that is the 85 there. This is a battle for 5th place. It says no, none of them are able to do that. So that's Chris Yeomans in front with Josh Birkin in the middle with Rhys Gentry in the back of this pack.
Yeah, just 3 laps to go. Will Howarth still leads the way this race. Matt Birkin's closely falling behind, just 1.7 seconds behind. But there's Josh Birkins in your screen right now. He's in the midst of a battle, and that is what happens when you're not at the front. You can get in a gaggle of riders where it's about 3 or 4 of you, and you start tripping each other up, losing ground, which then brings on even more riders, and it ends up into a 5 or 6 bike battle. And I believe that is the number 75 of Elliot Searle. That is still outside the track, but he's rejoined. I can see outside my window, back on the track as we cut back to Josh Birkins wanting to make more places up on the 85. So we are going with this race, 2 laps to go, just 2 laps. Will Howarth still leads the way. As you see, another rider is retired. He's sitting outside the track looking pretty miserable, disappointed, but because his weekend is over, this is the last race of the weekend. But this is the last race of the weekend. Will Howarth is in the lead. Everyone wants to win this race. Matt Birkins, although it's a 2.5 second gap, he will not be trying any less. He will be pushing as hard as he can as Will Howarth goes on to start. Goes on to the back straight to start his final lap of this race. He's trying everything he can to keep this lead. There's a back marker in front of him, but that will not faze him because he knows that he has a decent size gap for Matt Birkins. There's no need to worry. There's no need to do anything stupid and potentially risk losing valuable championship points. But as Will Howarth starts the final lap of the race, he has a 4.5 second gap over Matt Birkins. That is enormous. He can control this race. He literally just needs to bring it home on 2 wheels, which sometimes is easier said than done, but he just needs to stay focused and stay with it. But we can see that Josh Birkins and Nick Bennett have been pushed up in position. Josh Birkins now up to 4th. That is a great recovery from him after having the mishap of the first couple laps. But all the attention right now is on Will Howarth. He is going for the final section of track, puts the bike onto the right hand tyre, puts it on the back straight of the fat part of the tyre, trying to get tucked in as much as possible, if that's possible, the size of him. He is going around the final corner. Big riders, little bikes, big accomplishment. He's won the race, the final race of the weekend here at Llandow for the senior mini motos, and he's won it over Matt Birkins, which has, well, we're still waiting for Matt Birkins to cross line. He has a 9-second gap. Matt Birkins must have got caught up in lap traffic there. Holly Harris coming home in third, so that's a great podium for her. She'll be absolutely delighted with the British Talent Cup rider, currently riding for the FAB-Racing team, which of course is bringing on great young female talents. We see the top 10. Will Howard takes the win by 9 seconds with Matt Birkins in second place. Holly Harris comes home in third with Josh Birkins fourth. Nick Bennett fifth. Chris Yeomans in sixth. Reese Gentry in seventh. Mark Payne in eighth. Craig Ashall in ninth. And Callum White rounds out the top 10. Alex, what did you think of that senior race?
Absolutely fantastic. You know, Will Howarth, as I said before, he's trying to get as fast as possible so he can take off take off them ladders, because it is a very, very warm day today. Obviously, Matt Birkin and Josh Birkin with that fantastic comeback as well, and obviously that fantastic podium for Holly Harris as well, which was I bet that's gonna make her and her family's week this week, and obviously until the next round. So yeah, very happy for her to see that. Josh Birkin obviously with that fantastic recovery as well. Not too sure what happened to Chris Yeomans. I think maybe he just had a bad corner and allowed Nick Bennett and Josh Birkin to get past. But that was a fantastic thing. And that, unfortunately, was the end of the mini motors. That is it for it planned out. But don't go anywhere, because we have two incredible races left. Arguably some of the most exciting. Both of these were finished on the last lap. They were decided on the last lap with a lot of last lap battles. So the first race will be the Mini GP50 races, which, look at these, it's the return of the Minion and the Spider-Man here. This is what everybody wants to see. This was a tremendous race. We see the number 2 with the Minion helmet on the right of the grid. In the number 1 is Marco Holt. On the left, or the Spider-Man, the number 31, the black bike, is Archie O'Brien. Now these two are immensely fast, really genuinely immensely fast, so it's going to be fantastic to see which one of these fantastically talented riders. There you can see Marco Holt on the right, and there you go, the 91 who's just going across the screen. There we go, over Archie O'Brien. He's sneakily taken the lead there as Archie O'Brien, maybe trying to get inside Marco Holt's head, just to try maybe stirring him up a little bit. So this is the grid for the race. Marco Holt in the Minion helmet starts P1. Archie O'Brien starts P2 with the Spider-Man helmet. Then just behind them on the second round of the grid, it's Bill Harris and Luke Fitchett. Finley Paul Hill again in this championship from the Mini Motors as well, in the number 199, starts P5. Frankie Watson starts P6, and bringing up the rear we have Harley Baker in P7 and Bailey Lawrence in P8. Now this is a genuinely fantastic race to watch. It really is. And Lewis, I don't know about you, but I've sensed a fantastic battle coming between Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien. Yeah, certainly do. I mean, Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien, it was an incredible first race. Archie O'Brien has amazing pace once he can get past, if he can get a good start this time round, he may just clear off, but Marco Holt will have to go with him to fight for this victory. But Luke Fitchett in all two races has made incredible starts and has held up Archie O'Brien for the first couple laps. It'll be interesting to see if Luke Fitchett can do some more amazing defending, as all the tension is starting to rise in this grid. It's the final race of the weekend. They point to the lights. All the riders now looking at the lights, revving the bikes, waiting for the lights to turn on. The lights are red, the lights are off, and we are racing here for the final race. Luke Fitchett gets off to an amazing start again and overtakes Archie O'Brien again. This is exactly what has happened in the first two races. Luke Fitchett is a demon when it comes to starting off the line. Marco Holt leads the way though over Luke Fitchett and Archie O'Brien. Archie O'Brien right now will have to try and stay calm and find a way past Luke Fitchett, because if there's something that Luke Fitchett is better at than starting, it's defending. He makes life so difficult for Archie O'Brien. But this may give Marco Holt
time and the opportunity to get up front and get away, because he knows that Archie O'Brien can close a gap once he has open space in front of him. He is able just to claw that gap back. As you see Archie O'Brien looking down the inside there, Luke Fitchett, but Luke Fitchett gives him no way past. Luke Fitchett taking a slightly wider lines, they're side by side past the first kink. Archie O'Brien looking through the chicane for a way past, but he cannot find it. Luke Fitchett puts the bike in places where Archie O'Brien could not possibly overtake him. Luke Fitchett plays so perfectly. He makes Archie O'Brien think that he can get past it, but closes the door, which then affects his drive. But Marco Holt, crossing the line already, has almost a 4:10 lead. So this is Marco Holt's opportunity to get away from Luke Fitchett and Archie O'Brien.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not what Archie O'Brien needs. He's going to try it again. Use some of his special Spider-Man powers to try and get past Luke Fitchett potentially for the second place here, as Marco Holt heads into the final corner there. Nice and lovely, and goes across the line. He currently sets the fastest time again on that lap with a 50.3. A really good lap there. He actually set the fastest lap back in October. The lap record here, this is Archie O'Brien with Spider-Man helmet on your screen at the moment, but he set the fastest lap of a 49.097, so that is only maybe 1.2 seconds slower than what he is lapping at now. But Archie O'Brien trying his best to get past Luke Fitchett, but Luke Fitchett, I don't know what he's had over lunch or something like that, but he is on something now. You know, he's got some energy, he's really going well, but I say that, but Archie O'Brien is really closed up to him in that sector, as we can see Marco Holt coming down the back straight, but this is the battle we want to see. Archie O'Brien down the inside, and I think he might have got that position. Yes, he is ahead, but can Luke Fitchett get the cutback? Yes, he can, but who's going to come out on top? No, it is Archie O'Brien. Archie O'Brien moves into second place with a 49.466. That is only a 10 away from the lap record held by Marco Holt. I said this earlier, there is going to be such a championship rivalry between Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien. There is such competition between these two riders, as Finlay Polhill is down in 7th. Not too sure what has happened there. No, he's down at the bottom, so not too sure what has happened to Finlay. But let's focus on this battle up front. Marco Holt obviously leading. We're looking at Archie O'Brien right now, who is already gaining a little bit from the back of Luke Fitchett. You can already see there's a bit of a gap there, but Marco Holt is really going guns blazing at the moment, with obviously we have now 6 laps to go as Marco Holt just crosses the finish line, as we see. So that is Marco Holt in P1, Archie O'Brien in P2, Luke Fitchett in P3, Bill Harris in P4, Harley Baker P5, Frankie Watson P6, Bailey Lawrence P7, and Finlay Polhill P8.
Finlay Polhill, I've just been told that his transponder has stopped working on the track, so I believe he should still be classified, as he has one on them, it's just not working. So he is out on track still, he's fighting for position, so he is not last place, and he's still got a chance of getting a good result here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look at Bill Harris there now, he's currently running in 4th place, a really good 4th position for now, which is very good for him. So yeah, Finlay Polhill, as we've just heard, is currently running just without a transponder in 5th place at the moment. So yeah, very interesting start of the race so far. You know, a great little battle between O'Brien and Fitchett coming through the first few corners, and yeah, it's looking like a very good thing. Archie O'Brien, talk about Mr. Consistency. The best lap he set, we brought it up a few laps ago, 49.466. The last lap was a 49.475. So only about 100th of a second slower than his previous lap time. But the question of the day, with 5 laps to go, is can Archie O'Brien catch Marco Holt? That is the question that we are looking for now. And you know what? He is actually closing in, actually, from the last lap. So the last lap, the gap was at 1.273 seconds. Let's see what the gap is when they go over the line. Now it's down to 0.7 of a second with 4 laps to go. This is going to get very interesting indeed. Let's see if Marco Holt can hold on to position from Archie O'Brien. It's going to be a very interesting end to this race, especially if Archie O'Brien can do a miracle and manage to pass Marco Hall. It will be very, very interesting to see if he can do that, and it will be, again, Archie O'Brien, and Mr. Consistency at 49.5 now, so he's only just under a tenth of that again, which is fantastic. But this is the battle now. That is a lot closer again. Archie O'Brien, I don't know what he's on, but he's on something absolutely incredible, because now he is right on the back of Marcus Holt. A 2/10 gap now between these two riders with 3 laps to go. This is going to be very, very interesting. This has been a fantastic battle all weekend between these two drivers at the top, constantly battling it out for position as they both pass a few back markers there. We see them going almost fairing to rear wheel once again, which is absolutely sensational to see. These two just push each other to their maximum. They really, really do. Marco Holt goes faster, but Archie O'Brien wants to go faster, and then the reverse. If Archie O'Brien is in front, Holt will go faster. It's really, really incredible to see, as Archie O'Brien could potentially someone on the inside. He's so close now. So close is Archie O'Brien to the back of Marco Holt. It really is fascinating to see this race as they are separated by a 1/10 of a second over the line. This is absolutely sensational. The next time they pass the line will be the final lap. They have only about 1 3/4 of a lap left of this weekend. Can Archie O'Brien pull something magnificent out of the bag and a late lap send on Marco Holt? We will see, as Marco Holt is trying. He's just going, please, 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 Blake, give me everything you have got. He gets so close to the ground there. Absolutely sensational. Archie O'Brien doing absolutely mental as well. He's doing really, really good here, and he's even closer. It looks like he could potentially send one on the inside. He's even closer than last lap. Is he going to do it? No, he has one more lap to do it. The gap was 0.108 of a second last time, and they are side by side, almost going over the line. It's now again 1.5 of a second. Can Archie O'Brien pull anything out of this bag to overtake Marco Holt? We're not sure. He might be able to. Marco Holt could hold on to it, or we will know in about 3/4 of a lap. It's going to be absolutely sensational to see who is going to come out on top. Archie O'Brien is closer than he has ever been this race before. He's right on the back of him, coming up to a bad marker. This could be crucial. Oh, he has to back out. The bad marker very nearly manages, very nearly hits O'Brien. So yeah, this is very interesting now, but oh my dear, O'Brien has really got to run now. This could be it. Is he going to send it down the inside? Yes, he is. He's going to go for it. I'm not sure, and now he just manages to hold up, but it's going to be side by side once again. Marco Holt wins by under 1/10 of a second once again. These two riders, Lewis, these two are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they're absolutely inseparable. It was a great ride again by Archie O'Brien, just be able to claw back the gap once again. Confirmation, Marco Holt taking the race victory over Archie O'Brien. Look, but Marco Holt, it is incredible to see. I mean, look, Archie O'Brien down that back straight is so fast, whether that be the bike or his line that he takes coming out of that chicane. He's able to just get a far better drive and get in the slipstream and just try and make the move. But the back marker, I believe, was Frankie Watson that got into play there. Marco Holt risked it all to get past, but as we see, the top 10 here for Marco Holt, where Marco Holt got the race win. Archie O'Brien taking second place, with Luke Fitchett coming home to take the final spot on the podium. Bill Harris in fourth, Harley Baker fifth, Frankie Watson in sixth, Bailey Lawrence in seventh, and Finlay Paul Hill in eighth. But Finlay Paul Hill, I believe, will finish in fifth place. It's just that he did not have a working transponder. But once, as I was saying, Frankie Watson came into play there, but Marco risked it all and dived underneath him and completely risked it all, which created somewhat of a gap from Archie O'Brien. But Archie O'Brien tried then to get back up the inside, which almost caused a collision, but that was just a crazy race.
It was magical. It was really, really magical. These two, Marco Holt and Archie O'Brien, I'd say they're going places. They are so fast with one another. They are on another level. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the last race of the weekend, which is very, very sad. Unfortunately, I've absolutely loved it here this weekend. It is fantastic. And we got news a little earlier on that Filip Surviak is going to be starting at the back. which is unbelievable. I believe with Rossi Banham, Charlie Nesbitt and Jake Archer, the same riders that started at the back again. So we're just going to wait and see. Yes, we can see Rossi Banham starting at the back once again, but Filip Surbiak saying that he wanted a little bit of a challenge from what we hear. Not too sure, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see who is going to be at the back. Is Rossi Banham going to the front? I think he might be. Yes, he is, as he does a little wheelie to the front. So I think he's had his fun. He wants to try and win a race now. Oh no, is that for Filip Surbiak? That's Filip Surbiak.
Banham.
Oh no, that is Rossi Banham.
Going in
he's turning around. He's not too sure where to go at this point. I think he might be starting second, or is he? No, he's changed his mind. He's going to the back of the grid. He is indeed. So he lined up on pole, then went to second, and then turned around and started last. And starting at the back of the grid. Not too sure where Filip Surbiak is. I'm not sure if he's back of the grid or if he is somewhere else, but not too sure. It's a very mixed up grid for this, so I'm gonna comment. I don't think he's gone right to the back, but I think he's certainly gone back. So this is the quote unquote grid that we have. Filip Surbiak obviously will not be starting on pole. Rossi Banham again, so the front row is in the front. Well, we don't actually have anybody on the front row, so the front row becomes the second row of the grid. So Reece Peacock will start on third. Zach Turin starts P2 technically then. Ollie Walker starts P3. Chris Wells P4. Jack Andrews P5, yes, P5. Charlie Nesbitt P6. Noah Gullery starting P7. Jamie King P10. Sean Whittaker P11. Jake Archer, I think P10. I think that is, yeah. Adam Redding P13 and Clayton Edmonds P14. So what is going to happen in this race? The final race and the final countdown to the last race, if we're sticking with the classic song references. So let's have a look at which drivers start at the back. It's going to be carnage, I think, unfortunately for the final race of the weekend. It's been absolutely fantastic. All the riders have loved it. We've had some fantastic racing this weekend as we see Rossi Banham at the back. We also see another two bikes at the back as well. Not too sure who they are. That is Jake Archer again and Charlie Nesbitt again. So not too sure. Here we go. But we are getting pointed to the lights, and it is going to be for the final time this weekend. The red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. Absolutely fantastic. He's gone. Filip Surbiak has gone from like P5 to P2 immediately. A sensational start for that driver. He's just in an absolute class of his own. Rossi Banham bringing up the rear. I think he's going to make many things, and he's in the lead. Of course, it's Filip Surbiak starting from P6. I think has made his way in the first 2 or 3 corners into the lead of the race. What a talented driver once again in the Extreme 200 series, and he's just walking away with it once again. Absolutely fantastic. It really is. Yeah, on the grid we've got him as 4th on the grid. Absolutely fantastic to see, with the number 4 to a Noah Gully in P2. Absolutely fantastic as they go to complete the final first lap of this weekend. It's going to be Filip Surbiak, of course, who leads this race. Noah Gullery in P2. Zach Turin is in P3. Ollie Walker in P4. Jake Archer up to P5. Rossi Banham P6. Charlie Nesbitt P7. And Adam Redding down in P8. What a fantastic start to see Noah Gullery on screen. What a fantastic start for Filip Surbiak once again, Lewis.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, I looked at the grid slot and I believe Filip Surbiak started in the 15th place grid slot, and within the first corner he was up to 2nd place. He got off the line perfectly. It could have honestly have been done to go all the way back to where Rossi Banham started, but here he is out front, leading the way, controlling the race again. We're not even first lap 1, and he has a 1 second gap already as we see this gaggle of riders of Rossi Banham, Charlie Nesbitt and Jake Archer, all from the British Superbike paddock, all in FAB-Racing, all to have fun with each other and to bash bars, really, which is why they all went to the back of the grid, so then they can just compete against each other and see how far through the grid they can get. And you can tell right now they're enjoying it. They're using some of the raised curb on the outside. They're using the track and some, which is not Well, it's something that we usually see with these riders. As on our screen right now, we have Zach Torreen on the KTM 2-stroke. One of the many KTM 2-strokes. We've won them right now, leading your race. It's a 2-stroke 1-2-3 actually, I believe. With Noah Gilroy on the Metric style bike in second place as well. So it's great to see these bikes being close up front, with obviously still a pit bike 140s in 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th, I believe. So it's a real mix of bikes that we have here in the Extreme 200.
Absolutely, and on that last lap, Philipp Surbiak was 9/10 of a second faster than Noah Gully in second. He's already pulled a gap of 2 seconds, and we're already a few laps in. This rider is something else. He's made out of a different bit of metal. He's absolutely incredible. He's just such a talented driver. As we're looking at Rossi Banham at the moment with, as you say, these other BSB riders, they really are trying to find out which one of them is the fastest between each other on these specific Extreme 200 bikes. As we see, there he is once again, Philipp Surbiak, absolutely sensational. He's so comfortable this week, and his knee almost touching the ground. He crosses the line. Let's see what gap he's pulled this time. Let's have a look. It's going to be a 3-second gap already. Philipp Surbiak, oh my word, absolutely sensational. I've never seen a start like that. That was absolutely incredible. 6 laps to go in this final race of this season. Have you enjoyed watching this week? And if you have, let us know on all the Fab Racing and Motorsport radio, social media. Let us know where you are watching from, and you know, it's been fantastic. If you're new to bike racing like myself this weekend, to let us know how much you enjoyed it, because genuinely I've really loved it. It's some of the closest racing. But yeah, this Philipp Surbiak, this half Polish, half British driver, he is something else. I can't believe it. He's such a talent. Like, look at the gap he's pulled. He's already crossed the line, and that's 5.2 seconds now between him and Noah Gullery. This kid is something else. Absolutely insane. I can't quite believe that I'm watching this. Every corner is so perfect. His knee is so far down. His body is so far over the bike. Absolutely incredible to watch him like that. But Ollie Walker has moved up into the podium positions and overtaken Zach Turian for P3. The closest battles on track is actually Zach Turian, Rossi Banham, Jake Archer and Charlie Nesbitt, all covered by about 1.5 seconds, which is absolutely incredible to see us. There he is once again, Philipp Surbiak. We've just stopped talking about him, and he comes back round. Going to need to start talking about him again now as he goes past the start-finish straight for a 48.833, only 2.5 tenths slower than his best lap. Absolute sensations. We just see Noah Gully coming across the line there, and Ollie Walker in P3, Zach Turian in P4, Rossi Banham in P5, Jake Archer in P6, Charlie Nesbitt in the number 86 is in P7, and Adam Redding is in P8. Coming round now, and this is Rossi Banham v Zach Turian, I think, and it looks like Rossi Banham's going to try and go on the outside and then cut to the inside. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. Wow, it's amazing they didn't fall off. Rossi Banham, what a move, but he's left himself exposed coming on this right-hander, and is he going to be ahead? They are side by side. Sensational racing here. Rossi Banham is ahead of Jake Archer. Absolutely sensational, these riders here. Absolutely incredible as they come down. They start finish straight, but Archer is going to try and go on the outside, but Rossi Banham putting his bike in a perfect position for him to be able to take that position, and Jake Archer certainly isn't giving up easy. He says, you've taken that position from me, I want it back, as Rossi Banham moves up to P4, but how much longer, I wonder, because Zach Turian is actually having this fantastic scrap with Rossi Banham now in the Extreme 200 Clash, the final race of the day, and these riders are really giving us something to watch and really thoroughly enjoy, as once again Philipp Surbiak is extending his gap. He's currently got a gap of 8.1 seconds. This kid is absolutely insane. Here we go, and we see a little move there between the 48. This is the battle for second place. Who is going to come out on top between Noah Gullery and Ollie Walker? Ollie Walker has done a fantastic job to get here. Now Jake Archer goes above Zach Turian, so it's going to be Archer v Banham now for this. Philipp Surbiak has a 9.4 second gap. Absolutely incredible as we come to the final few laps. The next time that Surbiak crosses the line, it will be the final lap of this weekend, and what an absolute weekend it has been. It really, really has. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Obviously been alongside Lewis commentating these fantastic races as we see Surbiak coming into the corner for the second to last time. He's going to start his final lap, and I wonder who is going to win. Oh, I wonder. It seems to be very close between this battle here, but I tell you where it does seem very close. It's between Noah Gully and Ola Walker for second place. Who is going to come out on here? And I tell you who's just behind them. It's only Rossi Banham. Rossi Banham closing up to these two. It's going to be absolutely sensational to see who manages to win out of these drivers here, as Filip Surbiak is coming through these final few corners. It's absolutely sensational to see as he comes into the final time for this final weekend, into the right, into the left, into the right once again, onto the back of the Spitfire straight, which I absolutely love, as he comes down into the final corner. He is going to win the third and final race of the weekend. Ladies and gents, it's Filip Surbiak who wins the Race 3 Extreme 200. Absolutely sensational, but this battle is still going on for second place. Noah Gully v Ollie Walker. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be side by side across the line. Noah Gully is going to take second place away from Ollie Walker, just behind Rossi Banham. Saktorine manages to get P5, Jake Archer P6, Charlie Nesbitt P7, and Adam Redding in P8. Look at that bike. What a stunning looking bike as well, and what a stunning rider that is riding on top of this. Absolutely sensational. Really, really, really incredible rider there. And what an absolutely dominant race. So yeah, the final top 8 standings. Filip Surbiak wins by 11.8 seconds. That's the second biggest margin this weekend. Noah Gullery finishes in P2. Ollie Walker P3. Rossi Banham finishes in P4. As we now see him trying to do a few wheelies. That's Filip Surbiak. There he goes, doing a few big wheelies there. Absolutely fantastic. Rossi Banham finishes in P4. Saktorine in P5. Jake Archer in P6. Charlie Nesbitt is P7. And obviously, as we said, Adam Reddy in P8. Lewis. What an absolutely sensational weekend, full of jam-packed, drama-filled racing, filled with penalties, filled with absolutely everything. Just what would you give this weekend out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely high up there. Yeah. It was very, very, very dramatic in that race. I mean, it was just the fact that Filip Surbiak started on the 15th position in 50th position grid slot, wow. And then somehow in the first lap made it up to second place. I do not know how he's done it, but he got the perfect launch, controlled the race like complete, as he did all weekend. At the start of the weekend, he looked confident on the bike, and somehow he's managed to completely dominate, and no one else can keep up with him at all. It's great. It's honestly great to see, and it's great to see as well Noah Gilroy getting that second place on the Metric machine, so that has two completely different type of motorcycles in first and second, which is just awesome to see. And it's awesome to see young talent like Filip Surbiak, which is of course a British Talent Cup rider, being able to get the race win.
So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this weekend. As I can see Morgan going past me on the main road, it's absolutely lovely to see. This weekend has been absolutely amazing. It's obviously been my first commentary weekend, as well as my first bike racing weekend, and I can tell you something, I will be back at a bike racing weekend sometime very close in the future, because it was absolutely sensational. And obviously the riders that we have seen, absolutely incredible. You know, we have obviously Filip Surbiak, and obviously we have Holly as well, who is a British Talent Cup rider. We obviously have Marco Hull, Archie Bryan, some that come to name, obviously Rossi Banham as well. Absolutely sensational rider, and obviously Philip as well, who is one of our commentators here. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here in the commentary booth. I have been, for the final time, Alex Rizzoli, Panagiotis Lambropoulos, joined by Lewis. Lewis, why don't you sign us off, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.
Yeah, thanks so much, Frank. Goodbye. Enjoy the weekend.
Motorsport Radio.
1, 2.
Join the conversation. Contact the show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our website, Motorsport Radio.